Dual Scepter, or you're just going to lose a team fight horribly.
Yeah, going to be in a bad spot. And, you know, I almost thought that was going to be pretty bad for TNC in the sense they really tried to jump the gyrocopter right there, but he reacted nicely just in time with the Force Staff over the ledge away. Obviously, though, the big picture, TNC the 2-for-1, including that puck kill, really won the fight for them in the end. But now puck getting back towards the middle again. Speaking of finishing that Yules here, not really looking to farm it, though. Instead, he's going to be able to group up with his team and push this middle tower right here.
Yeah, so kind of rather than smoke up, they're just going to push this mid tower. They know Global's down, so you don't need the Yules right this second. But once Global's back up, then we'll probably see them more fall back, take some more farm. Does feel like they're struggling to push this mid-tier 1 tower for now, and they're also wary that they may not have ridden down the global cooldown. Some teams you'll see, like, as soon as an ulti's used, they'll pop the timer and make sure they take note of it, but it's very close to coming back up, just 25 seconds away, so they can't really team fight into that without a Yules.
Now they're making their way towards the top lane right here. Puck and Sven heading up. Orchid applied to Sankey there, but Radwiner puts the lasso out in return. The Burrow Strike eventually going to be coming up, and out comes the Stormhammer as well as the Dream Coil. Lock it out, Sankey. Broodmother goes down, though, as Ember Spirit joins on it with a Flame Guard up, and it's going to be coming up in a couple seconds, in fact, and they'll finish off Sven to top it all off. A 2-for-1 exchange. Could be 3-for-1 if Mushi can knock it out of here. The Flame Remnant not going to go for it. He actually stuck around, and the Waning Rift is not going to save him in the long run. He does have the phase shift, but just delays it. Cuckoo with the double tap and a 3-for-1 exchange. 24 minutes in favor of TNC.
Really, another good team fight. They didn't even have to use Global for that one. They just jumped the Brood. They got on top of him. I mean, that's like, okay, that's going to happen here and there. I'm not sure what Mushi's doing. He's just kind of off his game. He makes some mistakes there. Doesn't jaunt to his orb. I think he just got scared by the Ember Remnant, but you still just have to do what you can to jaunt out. Then after the phase shift, he doesn't blink away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to I don't like fully call him out, but like if you blink the direction you're facing, even with Razor's Plasma Field, I believe you can still get that blink out. So either way, he definitely should have jaunted to that orb, and unfortunately, he gives an extra kill away to nineski, to TNC, and TNC. Not just back in this game, but when you're kind of in this even gold state and the Brood threat has been quelled, you're feeling good. Like right now, you're like, yeah, you know this Brood is kind of farmed, but she doesn't feel like a threat because you've stopped her breaking your high ground. You've got really good farm on all your heroes that can counter her, and it's the gyro as like the next problem that you've got to address. But you've got good heroes to kind of deal with the gyro. You've got a Batrider Lasso. You've got the Razor Static Link. The late game gyro is not the scariest thing. Gyro also does not deal well with Ember because you haven't got good lockdown. This Ember is going to be very elusive and hard to kill.
And I feel like going back to the Broodmother here, you know, one reason that maybe we don't see her a whole lot is because at this top tier, teams do a good job of playing against her. As we've seen throughout this whole game, we made the comment earlier about they're paying attention to her. It's so easy to forget that the heroes in the game after maybe you take a fight at the bottom lane or you're looking to push, do objectives yourself, and then all of a sudden, you know, your tier 2, dare I say your tier 3 even goes down at the top lane as a result, or that off lane or whatever it may be. So they're doing a good job, though, of really paying attention. And, of course, on top of that, having the nice clear for the Spiderlings across the board is no doubt helping them, too.
Tim's now with the gem. This is like the final step in eliminating the Brood problem. You gank her a few times with Dust, your Obs plus Sentry combos. Now you're at the point where once you've comfortably dealt with the Brood and you feel like you're on top, buy a gem, take out all her vision, and make it so that she can never really show herself anywhere near this lane. And we're going to see them pass the gem off to the Batrider. I like this. Let the back go do some hunting. See if he can find the Brood.
Well, he's going to find a little Spiderlings right here.
It's good cash.
Burn them down.
That adds up quite a lot. That's like 120 gold or something right there. And this Brood is starting to throw back some money that he took away from that top lane.
Now you got Razor, the Manta style finished. Ogre Club on top of it. You figured the BKB, though, inevitably going to be coming out as well. And also got Raven with his own Blade Mail now follow up in the Maelstrom into the full-on Mjolnir. It's set to happen, so they're just gonna have intense damage in just this AoE presence here.
Ooh. Silencer Midas too, so they've got the late game secured. You feel so good as a Silencer now with like 27-minute Midas as a 5 position. You're just like, sweet. You know you're gonna get levels, some farm for the late game off of this item. That's when the game well and truly feels like it's in your hands. It's around a 1k gold lead, but it's a whole lot. It's a much bigger strategic lead in terms of the position they're in. TNC are the ones in a comfortable position. nineski are the ones who have to make something happen. They just got this Gyro BKB. Puck as a Yules. Their timing is now.
Tim's trying to react. He will get caught by the Stormhammer as well as the Dream Coil, though, so quite a bit used right there, despite the early attempt for Tims to get out.
It's not the hero you're hoping for, and it may not lead to big objectives. Roshan would be, I think, okay enough. This T1 mid tower wouldn't be all too bad as well.
If he stole the gem, maybe that could have been a little bit better. Well, that would have been better, but as you mentioned, and we saw earlier, Batrider, of course, got it instead, and so no gem to be had to at least benefit from that kill. But they will get the tower in the middle lane, Ninja Boogie. Able to finish that off right there. And Broodmother will continue to go back towards the top lane, now has the Diffusal Blade queued up herself. But yeah, we really haven't seen Brood get to use that Unstable Hunger much this game.
Yeah. And she hasn't been fighting. It's been constantly split push. I'm curious to see how the new, like, mid-lane game.
Yeah, maybe they actually will get the chance right here. They're trying to catch up, but just look how fast Razor is, running over 400 movement speed. The Global Silence just in case to make the getaway happen. And sure, it's a Global Silence committed, but now the backlines, you do have Raven coming in on that Ember Spirit. They're going to take the Laguna Blade in the face, though. Epicenter going out on the backlines, but that BKB coming up from Mag on the Broodmother, and there's that Unstable Hunger now activated, trying to finish off Sam H, but Kenny just kites him away. Did a good job with that Firefly and the 4-step over the ledge. Predator in the mid, or Cuckoo in the midst of this here on that Razor. The Eye of the Storm assisting a bit as well. The BKB up from Arc. The Dream Coil going to be back up, and will catch Razor now and secure the chase onto him. So they do get a Razor kill and the Ember Spirit picked off.
Yeah, they turn around. They use the last one Brood, but they don't kill Mag, and that means he can then BKB and turn it around. He could have done so much more damage if he leveled up his talent mid-fight. He got level 20, I think, from the Ember kill, and then he didn't get plus 70 attack speed. Is insane.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so much attack speed. But he didn't level up. I mean, it's crazy. It's hectic, you know. Stuff like that happens. You're not going to always notice that you leveled up in the middle of a team fight. You're focused on surviving, but the one thing I was going to bring up before the fight broke out is I'm curious to see how this Brood actually goes as a late game here. In the past, Brood was always talked about. You win the early game, you snowball, you push high ground early, you don't scale late game, but Brood's got some really nice late game talents. The plus 70 attack speed, 20% cooldown reduction. I think that's going to be one of the highest cooldown reduction talents in the game, if not the very highest, which means shorter cooldown on your BKB, your Orchid, your ultimate. All of those things add up, and in the late game, Brood with the plus 8 webs is a great fighting force. So I actually think Brood as a late game carry is a lot better than she used to be, and that's something where maybe nineski can match up to the late game of TNC.
Tim's going to help them push back in the middle lane, and Brood headed right back towards that top lane where it seems like her home is, but they will defend the tier 2 middle tower on top of that. And now Raven back to the bottom, trying to finish up the Maelstrom, and again, eventually the Mjolnir to come. But now Gyrocopter with the BKB, as we saw that last fight, another 1,800 gold saved up. Is there an item that you like to see on him here? Dare I say that Ags, as we were talking about earlier, or?
What does he want this game? Ooh. Hard to say. I think he's got... I don't think Ags is the item anymore. I think that's more an early game item when you get it to help you farm a bit faster. I think at this point you're better off looking bigger. The Lincoln's type build could be okay, but he's not really being grabbed himself, so he may just go damage, get Butterfly, get him like a Maelstrom or something for himself. I think Scotty could be okay, but I think he just wants some like late game carry, typical right click carry item is what I foresee him getting.
Going towards the top lane here, Puck able to hit level 18 as well, so does have that level 3 Dream Coil now at this point. But Smoking coming out from TNC, and they're gonna catch that. That's support, remember, here in this spin, so really stressed that because normally team has that core, but it means this pickoff isn't nearly as crucial.
Yeah, they probably aren't too phased by that unless they are going to be immediately. You're like, okay, they're not pushing objectives, but can they get Roshan? So I think that's the question if you're nineski. Like, do we need to defend Rosh? Are we fine? Let's push out these lanes. Let's threaten top with the Brood, but definitely reaching that point where Brood should not be a solo split push hero much anymore, except when like her Spiderlings can go top lane. She wants to be fighting with the team now. BKB, Diffusal Orchid, level 22. Definitely at a state where I think Brood continuing to go solo to this top lane will just result in feeding away more kills, more deaths, and that's not what you want out of Mag.
Well, she stuck around another 3-4 seconds even, probably going to be the result of that death right there, but gets back at the top lane in time.
Gyro will go for the axe, so we'll see it. It's a tanky item. It's not like a... It's a weird item because he's at that point where it's not going to help you farm that much faster. At this stage, it's more like maybe an early game farming item, but it's just stats. It's going to be okay for him. I think he looks at his team and says, my Puck and my Brood can deal some damage, so I don't need like the biggest carry late game item. There's no obvious item for him to get was the thing. Like when you ask him to get, I'm just like, there's no like, this is the item, so.
Kind of all over the place right there. But speaking of Axe too, Puck is actually going to be going for one himself.
Huh. Oh, epicenter bottom.
They're going to use it right here, trying to take out Puck. Speaking of him, phase shift though. Get out of this some way somehow. No, he does not. Lasso to secure it. And down goes Mushi. So the Axe is going to be delayed a little bit more, but perhaps more importantly, about a minute before he resurrects with no buyback. Homing missile middle lane on a Cuckoo meanwhile. But he's a little bit too far. You probably don't want to engage right now if you are this Radiant side, because your Puck is dead. He brings a lot to you.
The Axe Puck is definitely going to be nice against the Razor, even when Cuckoo gets a BKB, which he may not even get at this point. It looks like he's queued up other items. You've got a way to stun him through that, or at least prevent him from doing a whole lot.
Top lane? No, that's going to be a Yields out. Global Silence gets baited out, though, so
yep,
not too bad.
Didn't need to use it. Ember had his Yules, but
it's always scary when you see your
your
core like that being gone on.
Even, yeah, he probably just saw the map and thought maybe the Sven was about to blink stun, or the Lina was like invis with a stun ready to go. You know, just like it's in your mind. It's like, why would Brood go in my Ember when Ember has a Yules? There must be a second hero there or something. But it was just like you say, a bait. Nineski off of that though, get Roshan, so that Global Silence does come at quite a hefty cost. Nineski secure themselves a nice little objective.
This will be the first Roshan kill, so only the Aegis currently. But who do you give it to? The Gyro or the?
Probably Gyro. Looks like he's a slot. Yeah, he's on the slot. You could have made an argument for Brood, but Brood's also a hero that if you respawn without BKB, without ulti, you're not doing a whole lot in the fight. So Gyro's good safe call. Needs a few more levels and a bit more farm though. I feel like he's definitely up there. You see his net worth. It's not like he's fallen behind, but just like his level 20 talent could be nice. That Accept is almost complete. He is going to hit a nice little power spike when he gets both of those.
Yeah, speaking of Gyrocopter, that 20% cooldown reduction, you're just mentioning how Broodmother having that as well, so up there with the highest CDR as far as talent tree goes. Axe is also going to prove to be a popular pick this game, apparently. Sand King also now has his queued up as well.
All right.
That extra range.
Yep. Helps gank the Puck and stuff. Nice super long range initiation. And we'll see Nineski smoking up now down the mid lane. 3 heroes smoking behind their Gyro. Not a super wonky play, but something that could still succeed. Very common, you see like a carry hero in the front lines with a smoked up team behind it.
Yeah. They're also hoping Razor win for that siege creep right there, but Cuckoo a little too on top of that. He's like, yeah, something just doesn't feel right. They're missing on the map. I'm not going to go for it. So obviously the good call by him, and the Axe does eventually now get delivered to Gyrocopter, so has that Gunner now to work with as well, and going to retreat after they get the tier 2 tower here in the middle lane. Bottom tower being pushed out though by the dire side. It's objective for them, and somebody gets cut. Oh, Sand King actually going up on the cliff right here. Yeah, they have no clue that he is there unless they place a ward. That's not happening.
They're not going to check it, it looks like.
So he'll just be a ward himself for now.
Yep. I mean, Radiant don't really have any reason to check it. They don't have a gem. They don't have sentries. They're probably not expecting a ward there right now. And Sand King gets a lot of intel out of it. And it leads to a Batraider's lassoed up Lina now. Epicenter kill.
There you go. Support Lina goes down.
Can they get out? It looks like there's no Radiant heroes to punish this. And yeah, they'll get a kill. They'll get out. Not bad. It does just feel like this game's still just going to drag, play for the late game. Neither team seems close to reaching a point where they can take a big team fight or close things out just yet. So, late game Dota, here we go.
Well, Razor has a Shivas to help him going into that late game. Seems like a pretty good item, especially like against the Broodmother here. As he's going to get caught by a Dream Coil. This was the Stormhammer initially, but the Force Staff over the ledge runs right into the Broodmother, though. No Unstable Hunger activated just yet. It's still coming off cooldown, unfortunately. So can't really chase him down. Homing Missile's going to go off, but they're going to kill him before he gets to him. The last second.
Good job sniping that, and there we go. Yeah, Gyro's got level 20 with his Axe now. Nineski were chasing with that in mind. Like, hey, we're strong. This gyro is ready to charge into absolutely anything and dish out a ton of damage. Problem was, they can't chase with the double force staff away. That was such a good force to the high ground. And then they had, even after he got to the high ground, he had another force to push him even further back. It was some great defensive play from TNC.
Actually, about 20 more seconds before that Dreamcoil comes back up the top lane. You can see TNC. Somebody was up here, but as we can see on the mini-map, nobody now. Instead, they're all on the middle lane, pushing that out instead. There is still a tier 2 bottom at the bottom lane. We'll see if nineski makes their way over there if they want to try to siege here with the Aegis.
It's so tough to siege high ground with the Ember and the Razor, all this spam, but they've got an Aegis, so they may just chip it in and see how much damage they can do with a safe, like, gyrocopter in the front lines, just leave them up there alone.
Goes out to harass. There we go. The tanking initiation on the gyrocopter. Nice force staff. He's being force staffed all over the place. That was 3 in total. And there's a lasso to bring it. He can't even control his own damn hero. In comes the God Strength though from Sven. They might actually kill Gyro, but remember he has the Aegis, so he's going to come back up. The Global Silence activated as well. And also a puck caught in the midst of it. He's dead for 75. No buyback in Civil Hunger though from Mag. The Laguna Blade to finish off Razor in the midst of it. He has a buyback if he finds it necessary, but it doesn't look like it will be. In fact, Arc has to get back, as does Mag. Tims, can he maybe catch? The BKB's going to wear off right there. Nice silence, though, with the Orchid to prevent him from the Burrow Strike, but they yields him up, and they should be able to land it now, and that's going to be a pick on Arc as well. So TNC not only holds, but they dominate that fight against nineski, other than losing Razor, really.
It's hard, but it's one of those, that's kind of why I felt like this game was just going to go super late game, because nineski can't really siege high ground now. A bit surprised to see him go for it, even with the Gyrocopter Aegis doing it safely and slowly. He's in such high-risk position because a Batrider Lasso pulls you so deep into the TNC base. Even if he's hitting the tier 4 towers, there's double force stuff that can pull him into tier 4s, and then they can kill him twice. So that Aegis does not necessarily mean you are safe to push high ground, and nineski get heavily punished. It's where I just felt like this game, it probably should have just nineski kept on farming. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, we can't push, you want to farm, but in their minds it's like, well,
farming for?
what are we farming for? We've got an Aegis, aren't we theoretically like at one of our strongest points? And they kind of are, but at the same time, I think they just need to keep on farming. Get Brood another item. Get Sven some items so he can be a late game core. You need like that Lotus Orb against the Batrider. Sven has it queued up. I think having an anti-Batrider item, be it a Linken's or a Lotus Orb, is essential right now, and that's something that nineski do not have. So that's why I feel like, as much as they're at a peak, keep on farming. Like, you just got to play for, you need every little item, or every big item you can get to win this game if you're nineski.
Now you have Ember Spirit, though, not only almost level 25 for his level 25 talent here, but then the Octarine core going to be coming out on top of that.
Oh, man.
For Ember Spirit. So yeah, he's going to be really scary once that comes together for him. Razor's also close to level 25, and you see his options right here. I mean, 175 attack range. Quite the distance, but I mean, static link damage, is that something that you could see?
I think I've seen a bit of both, but I think static link is maybe a bit more common.
Okay.
Depends how much he feels he's just not getting static links off because of force stops. There's only the one force on the gyro, I believe, so I think static link is probably the way to go. We'll see, though. Yeah,
going back to that last fight, though, one other thing I wanted to mention was, I know you had talked about Mushi earlier, you know, making the mistake. It seemed like, at least at the top lane where he ended up dying. Honestly, in that fight, he seemed to drop without getting a whole lot off. And as he jumped, like, in the middle of everyone, he also even had a haste rune bottled up on that he was unable to get off. So, I'm not sure exactly what caught him, but clearly something did. And
I mean, he was very quick to respond to the Batrider with his Blink coil. He caught 3 or maybe 4 heroes in his coil, but he's then blinks in for his combo and takes a ton of damage. I think he got rooted by like an Ember, or caught by the Global, for example. Silenced up, you know, like, it's very, even if he uses himself up, then when he drops from the Yules, he maybe gets instantly rooted. So there's so many spells, AoE spells flying around that can catch him. It's very hard for him to play these fights. And I think, yeah, again, nineski, they're going to get stronger as this game goes on. When they can deal with the Lasso through Linken's, through Lotuses, also helps deal with the Global having a Lotus. Also, some of their level 25 talents are great. Puck, get that GPM. You're going to scale very well. Gyrocopter, Brood. Brood has hit 25. I think Gyro is another hero you can see level 25 on this game. So we'll see if they can get there, because it just feels like TNC's teamfight is too strong. And to beat their teamfight, you need to outplay them through these items. Like, you need to get a Linken's on a Lasso or a Lotus Orb off against the Global. Like, without these items, I think you can't win a team fight.
Once again, Global Science is up, but nineski not going to force anything. Obviously, we saw what happened last time. Going to probably wait for another Roshan attempt. If anything, that's probably going to be our next fight place unless they get caught perhaps around the rune area or something like that. In fact, as I say that, wants the haste rune, but it's going to be snatched up by Raven. He actually had the invis rune already on him, and he was kind of hoping Mushi poured it in, looking to steal it, but that's not the case. He's going to find Mushi nonetheless, so the rune comes out. Nice waning rift, though, with the Yules. Can prevent the initial burrow strike and the phase shift and the blink. He will get away this time around. He went up, though, actually, not towards his team, and they do find him, and he's dead for 80 seconds. This time he has a buyback at least, but nice pursuit from TNC.
That's tough. You kind of have to blink the direction you're facing as a puck when you're phase shifted. That's kind of the issue there. So he blinks to the north, and his team can't really bail him out, and Mushi may be forced to buy back here. There is a Brute slight threat at the top lane, but Ember's there. He can clear it out, and Remnant back in.
Yeah, Ember's just going to build the Yules on himself, and as you mentioned, he's already back on the middle lane somewhat. He is now falling back here. To get this up, the Axe effect kicking in for Tims. That range, though, it catches Lina completely off guard. And the Force Staff, as mentioned.
Yeah, this Dire team is using Force Staffs incredibly well. TNC's teamfight execution and Force Staff usage is being fantastic this game, and I think more than anything, they are playing nineski. I think nineski had a good idea with their draft. I mean, this game's far from over. There's still no racks down by any means, but what we're seeing so far is TNC just execute a whole lot better.
Yeah, Lina will buy back, and once again, I stress it's support Lina right here, but she buys back, and it is enough for TNC to fall back.
I think it's still a big deal because these supports need those items I've been talking about, like Lotuses and Lincolns. Lina had a Lincoln's queued up. Sven still has this Lotus queued up. If these supports had the farm that we saw the Dire supports have, that would be a Lincoln's or a Lotus. And those items will theoretically win you a team fight if used at a perfect time. So I think these buybacks do still hurt them and their ability to go late game. That's where it's now a 12k gold lead. Before that push mid, when nineski had ages, it was like a 1 or 2k gold lead for TNC. It's been like a 10k gold swing since we saw that failed high ground push.
Well, now we see it kind of comes together as expected pretty shortly after we talked about it last time. The level 25 Ember Spirit with that Octarine core now, all of a sudden, you know, all that cooldown reduction he has, that's going to be pretty damn nice.
That's insane. He's going to be a monster in these fights. So hard to bring down, and even if you go on him, if he's going to have lifesteal.
Lasso initiation on a puck, and there's the global silence right after the fact. Out comes a BKB from Arc. You got Broodmothers getting caught, though. Mushi will barely survive with a face shift for the time being, but down goes Mag. He's dead for 100, no buyback. Mushi's still alive, but Sven also picked off, and the chase continues for TNC. They want Mushi dead, damn it, and they're going to get Mushi dead. He does have a buyback at 80 seconds resurrection. But without Brood for 85 right here, this could be the first tier 3 pushed in this game right now.
Yeah. They may be able to force a follow-up fight without Brood in the 5v4 scenario. They haven't got global, but it still feels like they're more than apt to just take a team fight here if they want to.
Oh, the stun once again, similar from before. The Force Staff's not going to get the kill this time around, though. Double Yule's effect, though, avoid some more damage. And here, Force Staff's out of the base, actually. Lina's caught, but she has a Shrine going to keep her alive just barely. But Silencer going to change that, finishes her off. She is staying dead. The Epicenter with the Burrow Strike as well. Catches Arc on the Gyrocopter. He dies, he buys back immediately, but not going to be the same for Sven. He will stay dead, and TNC trying to really go cutthroat here and finish the job.
Yeah, Ember will TP home, heal himself back up, Remnant back in. They'll take another fight. They're not really backing off here, I feel. Maybe weighing on this Ember. I mean, I say that, maybe they will back off, but it seems like they should be fine here. 5v2 here. No reason to fully retreat here. They can take the Shrine, but...
Is it necessary?
Wow,
yeah.
Okay, they're going to back off. You know, they'll play it safe. They feel like, I mean, they do have the late game. They've got a much better late game draft. And they'll respect nineski, definitely for the formidable opponent that they are, but a bit surprised to see them fully retreat there. But Ember can go back, fully heal up and reset, but other heroes like the Razor, who is low, cannot. The late game only gets harder. I love this Axe pickup from Tims has allowed him to like really chase down Mushi. The puck's elusiveness, you can see there. When he survives on 100 HP, he's able to phase, blink away, but this super long range Burrow Strike is just so good at chasing after the puck after those long orbs. And, well, nineski are now in deep doo-doo.
That's a nice way to put it, Gods, right there. Yeah, you looking at the buyback situation, they really have this window now, really of the next 6 minutes, because Lina's will be up in 4.5, but that's, again, not necessarily the biggest deal in the world. Really the next 6 minutes here to make a move to really push into the base and get a set of racks, if not a couple, and actually finish this game. So I'm sure they're going to realize that, or they're very aware of that even. and they are going to make their moves coming up. But looks like maybe a couple more items they want, including a heart on Razor is what he has queued up.
Without taking a Rax, they're almost 30k gold ahead. It's not often you see that big of a lead without taking Rax. And considering the gold lead was 0 if you go back maybe 15 minutes. So very, very well played late game by TNC. nineski, bit of a all-in smoke. Yeah, they need something out of this. And the problem is, I don't actually think this is going to... A kill here will not lead. They can't push high ground. You look at where all the dire creep waves are. They're all past the river. All they would have gotten if they got a kill was Roshan. Instead of getting a kill, they're going to go straight into Roche. This is another kind of desperate play. And it looks like they will get this, but
do it quick.
TNC will come and fight them. Here comes Ember.
When's the timing, though? They go in with the Searing Chains and the Sleight of Fist. He runs on in. Global Signs comes out. Now Arc does get the Aegis on that Gyrocopter, but Puck's in a bad spot from the beginning. He'll die, and he stays dead for the midst of this fight. Cuckoo, he gets his own BKB off. In the midst of that call down, he'll start running now. The Static Link is still up 315 plus damage, and he's going to use that damage to turn in the face of both the Gyro and the Sven. Gyro dies. The Aegis pops pretty quickly right there. They did lose Batrider throughout this, but now Maga's caught. He's forced to fight here against... Oh, the Epicenter actually does not get off in time from Sand King due to that Yule's effect. The Rod of Atos locked down on Gyrocopter meanwhile, as he's trying to maybe chase down and finish off this Ember Spirit, but the homing missile is up. And Gyro, nice job with the Yules though, will avoid it. And he stays alive for now. Again, that Octarine Core no doubt helping him right here. He's gonna fire Remnant away. And never mind.
Oh, wow.
Laguna played distance, man.
I did not expect him to die there.
No.
He didn't expect himself to die there. He was kind of just... It felt like he was playing with nineski there, like, oh, blink around, you got another homing missile, it's fine, I'm still going to live. And then it's like, oh, wait, no, he actually kind of outplayed himself. He had ways out of that one. He had more fire remnants he could have used. He was a bit low on mana.
Jeez.
His Yules was still down, but ultimately not going to matter. Razor with the heart you mentioned is on the high ground now, 4k HP.
Yeah, he had that pop in, so he just got to reset himself. He got Arc to actually use the cheese and almost killed him despite that. With the Static Link up to another almost 300 charges, but he'll finish off the range tracks instead, at least for now. Bottom lane, Sand King, he may end up dying with this unless the Yules get away somehow. Burrow Strike coming out, nice job with the Sandstorm initially. Burrow Strike with that Axe effect, the distance man, a 4-step away, and now he has Blink as soon as the urn goes off. He blinks away in time.
Defense like a carry now in this silencer.
Yeah.
This Midas is paying off.
You're right.
Big time. He's 15k net worth. Jeez, farm on this man.
Cuckoo, he's also got plenty of farm. Blade Mail with that hard, standing his ground, of course, as you'd expect. Brewmother still has another 20 seconds before he's even up. So, I mean, you got to give credit to the nineski in the sense that they aren't letting this game actually finish yet, and they haven't given up a melee racks yet, but they finally are going to lose one here.
They'll hold on breaky, but it's kind of like, what are you holding on for? And that's where it's... They're not getting any close to pulling themselves back in this game, and definitely had their own. I think going late game was fine. I mean, I think they were at a disadvantage, but I think they could have gone late game if they kept farming. They tried to force the high ground play. They didn't maintain any level of farm on heroes like... Sven had gone back to like a farming build. I think the earned Blink was fine, but instead of this drums, if he picked up like a Mask of Madness inside, just farming some ancient stacks, could have been different. Gyro Rapier, let's go. Now we're talking. Now we got ourselves one last hold.
All right.
This is the all-in play. Of course, it's the CIS player in the game busting out a Rapier on Gyrocopter.
Might as well give it a shot. Not expecting much out of this, but yeah, you might as well as he gets it delivered. Just trying to catch them off guard, just team wipe them, then push back. You know, anything can happen, right? No, they are going to fall back, though.
We'd love to get that level 25. I think often you see the 3 homing missile charges. It's a really useful utility spell, even as a carry, but with the Rapier, the +4 flat cannon seems like the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see if we can get there before this next big fight. He actually hides the Rapier for now. He doesn't want to reveal it. Puts it on the ground. Annoying thing with Rapiers is I don't think that courier can actually pick it up. It's kind of... Rapiers are weird with how they get passed around.
Oh, yeah, he's going to keep it hidden for the time being. And I don't think that they saw it. I think they did a pretty good job of making sure that they weren't aware. But is that really going to catch it? Look, we talked about the heart already, but across the board, they really are just so tanky. The Shiva's now on Sand King, even with 2,400 life save up. And he got his 50 health regen talent at level 25. Obviously, Octarine Core, Ember Spirit. So really all these heroes are going to just be extra difficult to kill, even with the Divine Rapier, as odd as that may sound.
See how long he wants to keep it hidden. He's picked it back up now. He may just decide to show it. Or he's maybe just like moving it somewhere more convenient for himself. Trying to leech that level 25 and see what happens next. There we go. He's just going to show it mid. It should be getting pinged out immediately.
Yep, there they go. They ping it out indeed. And the Sand King, ooh, I thought he might have been looking to go right there, but obviously aware that he has support nearby. And you don't want to go too deep right here if you TNC. You have the game in your grasp. Really just a final push to finish it right here. Yep. And go 1-0 in the group stages now. So trying to do that. Mushi, though, doesn't want that to be. Call down comes out, but nice job force staff away as it's been before. And Puck has to get away as the global sign still taking effect. Drops almost half-life. Jarkop's going to get caught by the lasso. They just burn him down. That's a rapier on the ground. Now somebody got it. And it looks like, I don't even know who, but it doesn't matter really. Does it, TNC?
It's Silencer, of course.
Silencer got it. Yeah, no, he's turned into the actual carry for the team.
His net worth with that is almost the highest. That's the best part, but inflated by the rapier. That's some end of rampage for Theban, of all people. Says, I'm the carry now.
I'm the carry now. Look at me. There you go. Yeah, I mean, obviously at that point, it was over, so with some flashy stuff to finish it off right there. TNC, though, they held their ground. They played against Mag's Broodmother, this feared Broodmother that you've talked about in the past, and they seems like they dealt with it like they played against it before and weren't too worried.
Yeah, they did. I think they did enough at dealing with the Brood. There's definitely moments where I felt like the hero was starting to gain some momentum, and I think Mag played a close to perfect Brood game. I think Mushi had an underwhelming game on Puck. I think Gyrocopter didn't get as involved as perhaps he maybe needed to. Some of the things just didn't come together with Nineski's draft, and I think Mag actually played maybe the best on that team, even though that he got dealt with by TNC. The fact that TNC had to commit so many resources to deal with the Brood, but then the other Nineski players weren't using that space to kind of get something done themselves was maybe the biggest problem Nineski had.
The supporting cast, I think, was just so huge as well, as you really were stressing with the Silencer especially, but again, even that Sand King, and I know just naturally a lot more globals coming out for that team as the further they got ahead right there, but you could just compare it to that Lina and the Sven, who both definitely have that potential, like the Silencer did, to kind of become a little bit of that core. Never really took off with that, maybe a hindsight kind of deal, sure, but you know, really could have used that firepower in that mid to late game stage there, but wasn't the case, and so they dropped their first game here. Again, this is the beginning of a long journey, though. In total, you play 9 games here in the round robin. Being 0-1, not necessarily the biggest deal in the world, especially when it's again to TNC. You know, a lot of people, including ourselves, expect them, but you know, not with very confident. I mean, obviously anything can happen, really, but they are one of the top teams in Southeast Asia, of course.
The downside of that is now everyone's going to be like remembering Mag's Brood, so I don't know if that was like obviously it's great to bring out that big pocket strat against the scariest team like TNC, but now every other team in this qualifiers is going to be like, oh, what's Nineski been playing? Oh, playing Brood. So even if you're not banning it, I think banning it's a great choice. You're at least drafting and prepared for it, and that's something which, unfortunately for Nineski, they won't have the surprise factor anymore. Well,
gods, we got our next match going to be starting here shortly once again, and now this time, as I said before, it turns out that this actually is the next match here. We are going to get our debut with Faceless, and they're going off against Moogle, the one of the second open qualifier team. Again, Miracle and his squad of friends, as you were stressing earlier, that they have there. So, again, Faceless definitely the favorite team there, but who knows? In these best of ones, anything can happen, and looking forward to that one for myself. You got gods here. Stay tuned, guys. Our TI7 BTS Hub continues with the regional qualifiers, Southeast Asia region. We'll be back shortly.
The tournament commences. Vile creatures.
I challenge you!
Yes!
Now that's how you make go.
Gaming Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans.
Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match.
Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Deuce. 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 Deuce is wild. Deuce. 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 Deuce is wild.
Mountain Dew and Origin Super Rig, built by fans for one lucky fan. Tune in to the Dew Twitch channel. Vote weekly on Super Rig components, and you could win the Super Rig itself. Vote, win, rig up.
I usually stream every other day for 12 hours at a time, so I'm sitting a lot. 5 Hour ended up asking me what I needed most, and I said a chair, and they ended up giving me a really good ergonomic chair. Best rated for like long-term sitting, and it's absolutely helped the quality of my broadcast. Caffeinated beverages, you know, you got coffee, you've got energy drinks, you've got sodas, but I always found that 5 Hour Energy was usually the better alternative. Way less calories, no sugar at all. Easy to store, easy to take with you, fits in your pocket. Doesn't get much easier than that. I mean, it just helps push you through.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our coverage here of the TI7 regional qualifiers, of course, Southeast Asian region we're focusing on here. We got our third match coming up. Breaky CBK here, now going to be joined by Luminous as my caster, and now we got Gods and Lyrical on the comfy couch over there. What is it like, Gods, over there on the couch?
It's good. It feels cooler. I don't know if maybe the place is just cooling down or something.
A little warm, yeah.
It's cooler because you're here.
Thanks, man.
See what you did there. Well, Luminous, I think it's pretty cool over here as well. I see you're doing a little bit of research for our upcoming match. Of course, Faceless versus Moogle. Again, Moogle, the open qualifier team number 2 to qualify, but Miracle. That's a name you should recognize. Not Miracle, as I say Miracle. Gotta go Mur.
Is that
M-E-R.
That sounds like Murka.
That might be part of why I'm doing it, yes. But Miracle, of course, formerly as Fnatic, you're explaining. This should be a fun matchup. I'm excited for the debut of Faceless personally, but I know, Luminous, you mentioning you're excited for Moogle here.
Well, I'm friends with Miracle. So I hope to see him do well. The man has not played in a Valve event yet. At least I don't think. They were very close to qualifying it last time when he was part of nineski. Remember, it was nineski with Miracle, Jules,
Raging Potato.
Yeah.
Jay, on the mid lane. So I thought that lineup could have went very far. It did not. So teams are split up. But the team that he's on, Mugo, is actually his first departure.
Yeah.
They call it Mugo instead. But all of these players have been around a long time. They've, I don't want to say got very far, but they're definitely good players.
Lyrical, what do you think? Do you think Miracle and Mugu have a chance? Miracle, Moogle. Anyways, have a chance here in this matchup.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that they've got a lot of potential. They're sort of like that underdog team that's maybe been floating a little bit under the radar. You know, they're a team that came in through the open qualifiers. I think that people who pay attention to C have big expectations for this team. But it's certainly going to be a big test up against Faceless that traditionally have been like that, you know, gatekeeper team for Southeast Asia. I'm wondering if that's starting to shift now that you have teams like TNC with more international experience. Happy Feet went to a couple of them as well. I don't think it's definitely not as clear cut as it was this entire season of Faceless being top of C and everybody else down there. No. It's much more open now.
I definitely agree. I think Faceless less clearly the front runner in SEA, but I think I don't have as much faith in Moogle as maybe other people. I love Miracle. He's a good kid. Incredibly talented, has come up with some very innovative ways to play Dota, and I think he's definitely going to play some maybe a top tier team, but I don't think that is that top tier team. There's a reason he left Singapore to go play with the guys at nineski and came very close to making it, and then he went over to Fnatic before he kind of got replaced by Arjit because this team wasn't cutting it. This is kind of his backup plan, so we'll see.
There's a reason why he left those teams as well. I think knowing Miracle, he's, I don't want to say a hard teammate to work with, but everywhere he goes to, he's like, I miss home. Like, I miss the food I eat in Singapore. I miss.
He didn't leave Fnatic. He got kicked.
I was gonna say.
Well, no, like, more so for nineski time. Like, okay. I just know that every time he was on nineski, I've heard like all he does is complain about like, I miss my home, I miss my food.
Well,
and he's like a young kid, right? So
to be fair, one of the reasons.
But yeah, but I do agree with you guys. I don't think this is the team, but I could see them perhaps sneaking into top 4, or rather top 5. Like they won't be the team that wins the first slot.
No. They'll likely cause some upsets. I think. I mean, I think they have the ability to take a game here or there for like even one of the best teams like a Faceless if they have like a really good draft and play really well. But I see them winning maybe 3, 4, 5 games, perhaps sneaking into the top 5, like Lumi says, but probably not taking one of those top 3 slots.
Well, this is both their first game, and I think if you're Moogle here, part of me would probably expect them to almost be happy that they're facing a team like Faceless, because, you know, Faceless, they maybe kind of get that rust off. Not that they have a lot of rust by any means, but again, this is their first game too of the night and getting ready for this very important event that they're kind of expected to move on. So maybe that's where they can catch them off guard even. So we'll see if they take advantage of that. They're going to do so with a Lina pick so far. Nyx Assassin Silencer coming out for Faceless here.
The team's pretty open. Like Nyx can forward position, can off lane, Silencer, same thing. Not the roles, but can go multiple lanes, can go mid, can go support. Lina's mid or support as well.
That support last game was a little bit rough. That's a little bit lacking, and I don't know. But I agree. And I think that like Lina to me feels to be the dominant mid laner of right now. Maybe TA is that other one. And it does really well against Lina as well. The Witch Doctor is a little bit interesting.
Okay.
I think that just wanting to shore up those lanes again, it makes me think that it is going to be Lina mid though, because Witch Doctor Lina feels like it's kind of awkward. They do the same type of thing.
I find this really strange. You're picking Witch Doctor into a silencer. That means your death ward is generally not going to get a very long, successful channel. The one big thing that you get out of Witch Doctor here is the ability to zone out Nyx Assassin. I've seen Witch Doctor go Maledict at 1, and normally Nyx is like, haha, I trade hits, I regen, but if you take too much damage and there's a level 1 Maledict on you early on, you can just get completely forced out the lane. So I wonder if that's the reason why they picked the Witch Doctor here early, or are they thinking of something like a Faceless Void as one of their core position and combo it off there?
Or somebody that can blow up Silencer and find him, like a Storm or something.
Sure.
Although they can't really, again, like
for example,
run Lina's support, but I don't really like it.
I mean, I also think there's something to be said for just picking up a comfort 5 position support in the first 2 picks. Like, I imagine like their support play is probably just like, yeah, I feel good on Witch Doctor.
Okay.
Like, you look at maybe their open qualifier run. I think a lot of teams will just find like that 5 position support that works and then just keep repicking it. Faceless did that for ages with Witch Doctor and Warlock themselves. Yeah. So there's definitely something to be said for just sticking with a 5 position that you just play most games.
10 seconds remaining.
They ban an Invoker here. Definitely great synergy with a hero like Nyx Assassin, of course. Beautiful setup for Sunstrike, so not going to give in on that option. Clockwork ban on the side of Faceless, as well as that Veno Omni Knight that we had initially right there. So, yeah, Omni Knight, throw it in there right from the beginning here for Faceless. Want to get cheesed with such hero, perhaps. Silencer, is there a direction we're maybe leaning towards as far as a core or a support here?
I think knowing Faceless, they mostly run it like Nuts Hero. I don't generally see Black playing in mid. So,
yeah. I think I'd
I mean, they
like
could pull it out, but
I think I'd be like, yeah, 60-40 or 70-30 of being a support, more likely.
Yeah.
But I think Faceless themselves have, I mean, it's one of those things where when we're saying we run 2 lanes, the team's probably thinking a similar thing where they haven't even fully decided themselves they want to leave the option open to run it either way, depending what their opponents pick. I guess you know the mid matchup, the Lina, so you may be. I think Silencer is one of the better mids to play against Lina, but still not an easy matchup. Lina's just incredibly strong.
And they'll have last pick too, so they're really comfortable taking all of these heroes that are very, back and forth with Nyx. We talked about 3 or 4 Silencer, 2 or 5 or whatever. I expect to see that. Maybe they either take their 4 here or their off lane, depending, and double down.
You're riding that? Yep. Grab a bat. One of Ice's best heroes, I'd say. And something that will give them a way to just keep fighting. They've got 2 initiators with Bat and Nyx Assassin now. And Bat Silencer has always been a great combo. You've got that instant initiation, the Blink Lasso, and then you just pop global. You can't react to the Bat Rider if you're silenced.
I mean, we saw that combo last game, right? How was it there? Did it perform big time for you? For
yeah.
I believe it was
TNC.
Yeah.
Were solid. They won the game. They
won.
They won the team fights. There was no way. Anytime there was a team fight with global up, they were winning easily. There was a few times where they maybe used the global at a bad time or overreacted with it, and then they'd lose Roche or they'd lose towers because of it. So the global was a key tool for them.
So now, like, you look at one draft and it's pretty clear that what it is that Moogle are going to be doing. Lina mid, Witch Doctor 5, Kunkka in the 4 role, and now like they know everything to what to expect, at least as far as like the early game rotations are going to be. And they're going to take the Lifestealer, so I don't think that Kunkka's really going to be able to do much in those lanes. I'm assuming now that this is a 5 silencer then.
Yeah, very, very likely now, I'd say. But similarly, you may just look at that hero pool when you get to your 5th pick and say, there's not much left. Let's pick another 5 position support, but I think that's not likely. Faceless is a team who, as mentioned, always would just pick up their 5 position support in the first 2. They just pick a Warlock or a Witch Doctor first 2 and be happy with it.
Lifestealer seems like he's going to be really strong in this game. He has a couple of transport targets in both the Bat Rider and the Nyx Assassin, very good ones at that. And then, of course, all the magic presence there on the other side. Rage is going to be a very valuable tool for Lifestealer. So definitely a strong pick. And now the 4th one from Moogle coming out. They still need their 1 position as well as their own off lane. You probably figure here.
Yep. I think I definitely love what Faceless have done with their draft. I think there were a few tricks Moogle could have done to catch him by surprise. The Drow Ranger was one, and that option's been taken away. That's kind of one of like the cheese type strats that you can always bust out. So that's no longer an option. So I think Moogle are going to have to just outplay them, out execute. Jug, like kind of a standard safe pick. Nothing wrong with it this game, but it just feels like it doesn't blow me away as a great pick for dealing with Faceless.
Jug into Lifestealer. I don't think he wins a man fight there, does he?
What do you mean, the Jug? You don't think the Jug does?
All right, this meme is not catching on. Never mind.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
I'm too young for this.
You guys didn't watch the fact that BSJ had a thing with 1v1 between Jug and Lifestealer?
No, I missed that one.
Oh, okay. But well,
I was like, where are you going with this, Luke?
Back in this draft, I think Jug matches up against Lifestealer very well. The other carry I had in mind was something like PA, something that could kind of just be able to man fight Lifestealer 1 versus 1, but the ability to have a lot of magic and physical damage for Moogle is, I think, a very strong part. And also, if you get to spin when Batrider jumps on you with Lasso, like if you could react quickly enough and pop off your spin, then I feel like Juggernaut just will survive that Lasso overall.
I don't know. I feel like Moogle might be a little bit behind, and maybe a
still
big
tough
pick from the third phase, like the KB Pearson.
Yeah, the problem is like that Lasso. Just even if you're spinning, they're still they may even go for a physical damage mid just to have more physical onto that spinning Jug. Theoretically, because you're global silence. There's no defense. You can't use your Conquer Ship, your X to stop the Lasso if you're silenced after the Lasso. So it could be kind of tough for them.
So Moogle bans out Naga with their final potential ban, or what could have been potential pick.
Strong laning heroes that are annoying for Lifestealer. That's where Legion gets banned out. The other hero you'd see sometimes would be like the Omni Knight type heroes that can be annoying to deal with, but I don't like Omni versus the Silencer so much. You can build Greaves or something, but...
It was banned first up there.
Oh,
too.
okay, never mind. No Omni. Just
Maybe
kidding.
Beastmaster. You got a lot of push with Jug already. The Healing Ward, Witch Doctor heals.
Tusk
Tusk.
Core or Kunk Core?
Yeah, what is going on here now? Is this going to be a Trilane aggressive?
God.
Perhaps?
Snowball as a save for Lasso, kind of. But again, you need like a way to get rid of the silence, maybe, which could be saying Tusk built into.
For faces like I like OD here, you want a mid that could save pretty much anybody from Kunkka, right? Like X-Torn combo is not going to be a thing anymore. A 4-stat builder that allows you to get around the Tusk quite nicely. The lane matchup against Lina might be a bit rough, but
that's any hero except like TA, and I don't think
so.
I don't think TA is like an amazing pick for their draft as a whole.
But there is that thing that you mentioned, Gods, where if you pick up a physical carry, then no matter if Jug is spinning or not, you just like plow through him.
Yeah.
And OD does not give that to you. So
what about like Ember Spirit here? Faceless.
I was actually thinking about that to push out the lanes on the side.
It's a rough matchup, but there's not much done for him.
Back.
Bristle this game, hero that kind of shrugs off a lot of the damage coming out on him. Black will be playing it in the mid lane. Interesting. I definitely like Faceless drafts overall. I'm not like blown away by this Bristle pick. I just felt like those first 3 heroes, and I think the Lifestealer fits their draft really well. As much as Jug can win a man fight, like kind of in the 1v1 versus the Lifestealer, it's not going to come down to that kind of a scenario. It's going to come down to Faceless having the better team fight and the better initiation in my mind.
There's potential for Silver Edge to be even a little bit more viable this game, and they have heroes. I mean, I get, like, Lina and Juggernaut are ones that you would normally see it on all the time by any means, but...
You could even get it on Tusk, you know, if he's farmed enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Damn. It's definitely a pub bill.
You know what it could be? Tusk Ags. Get it core, kick that Lifestealer away.
You can.
That's the way to play it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
What position is Kai on the roster? Because I'm not familiar with these players. And Polison.
Polison is the 3rd.
Yeah. Okay.
And Miracle is the 1. Chipix is the 2.
All right, so getting ready to get into game 1 of, well, they're all game 1s, but getting ready to get into this one here, the debut match for both of these teams, Faceless versus Moogle. Again, looking to start strong here. Faceless, no doubt the favorite team, but Moogle with Miracle. Brass has a shot. You think predictions, Lyrical, real quickly.
I think that if they go Tuskags, they win, and if they don't, they lose. I'm going to say that.
We've got to farm it.
Gods?
I'm with Faceless. I think they're a better team, and I actually prefer their draft for this one, so I'll go with them as well.
All right, well,
let's go with them.
Thanks for you guys for joining us here, but now we got our game into it here. Myself and Luminous. Luminous, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Faceless as well. I feel like one thing that Moogle is going to struggle with in the mid game is their damage output. Tusk is not a hero notoriously for his... I mean, he's more for the utility, for the control. But unless you get super farm with a Tusk, he really lacks damage. I feel like Lina, there's a lot of weight on her shoulder. She probably needs to pick up an Aghanim Scepter as well, just to be able to pierce through the magic immunity of Lifestealer. So that's one less item that she could get for, like, let's say, Shadow Blade or Yules or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think overall, the Mugo team is really pressured to do very well in the laning stage. If not, they're going to struggle with damage output in the mid game to deal with some of these very tanky heroes like Bristleback, Lifestealer. Even a support lineup like Nyx is just a tanky support.
See this warding position early on, a very aggressive middle ward coming out from the side of Moogle here. Is there any reason, a specific reason you think why they're doing that?
I think actually that's a pretty common ward spot. If you could get it out early, it really gives your mid laner a lot of leeway to play aggressive or play defensive if you think the supports are missing from the enemy side. Helps Lina to aim the Dragon Slaves up the hill if she doesn't have vision there, but it's just good overall ward. I don't think there's too much behind that.
So I know you mentioned the idea of that Witch Doctor pick earlier on, the idea of Maledict could perhaps be decent against zoning out. In that case, what we thought could have been a Nyx.
Right.
Ends up being a Bat Rider here. Is it maybe similar in that idea, or is it not going to be as efficient?
I think now that it's a Bat Rider, the cask might be a little bit more useful. Well, we also didn't know it was the Juggernaut, core in that spot. But cask into, let's say, a Torrent into a spin. If you could land everything and chain it properly, Ice would be dead 100% of the time.
Yeah. Well, he's going to run into that perhaps right away. They get the cask bounce, not back to him, though the Torrent misses. If that cask goes back to him, you got to wonder what happens right here. Probably first blood for Juggernaut.
The problem with landing that combination is that Kai needs to throw out the Torrent pretty much at the same time as Cask hits him. I think he waited a little bit too long, and as a result, they don't chain into each other.
And so now Ice that is obviously very aware of the Trillian here at the bottom, so we'll see how defensive he plays as a result of that. Middle matchup, though, there was a little bit of protection by Nyx early on, but, how much could he really have done? And Lina seems like she's off to a strong start against the Bristleback here. 6-0 Lina versus a 3-3. Bristle as bottom lane, they do land the combo eventually, so I thought for sure he was going to play defensive, not give them the chance, but that they do.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Ice got killed there. He was right in front of his tower, perhaps using it, because, as an offlaner, when you are in front of a tower, you just want to grab all that experience with the creeps. But I think they punished him by just kind of diving him under the tower and getting a quick kill.
Bristle, though, 8-3 now, so kind of keeping up with Lina, but especially if this ends up being a 1 versus 1, do you see Lina pretty much winning this matchup handily, or?
I don't think Black will die, but Lina's gonna get a ton of farm, right? She's gonna just push out the lane with Dragon Slave, grab all the runes, and all the Quill Spray is gonna mean a couple more Dragon Slave to harass Black. Again, Black won't die here, but Lina should have an amazing time farming, grabbing every single rune, and overall doing pretty well in the lane.
Black actually has that bottle queued up. In fact, going to be sending it out now. What is currently that ground courier, of course. Meanwhile, Kai roaming around aggressively on the Kunkka. And going to pick up that bounty rate. Nyx runs right into Tusk and actually mana burn him. As that'll also take off the Clarity Potion. So some nice harassment coming out from Jabs here. But choosing to get that mana burn from the beginning. I guess when he was harassing Lina in the middle lane, that kind of makes sense.
Right. Makes a little bit less sense now that he's kind of left the mid lane and is trying to roam around and do stuff. Still struggling to find that level 2.
Is there, being a middle Bristleback here, do you see him maybe going Kunkka, by the way, trying to use an illusion to kill the courier. That's not going to work too well. So it'll be fine. But do you see Bristleback going maybe out of the norm from the earlier on Vanguard here?
No, I mean, Hood Vanguard's pretty much standard. I think the one team that kind of deviates from the norm is Team Liquid. They do like to pick up a mech, depending on where the Bristleback is at. But to answer your question, I think we're going to see a very standard item from Black. Although if he does go mech, I would not be too surprised.
That was a good heads up by Lina right there. I believe he
saw the Nyx coming in.
Yeah, he saw the Nyx coming in. He wouldn't have normally used the Dragon Slave there, but he's like, you know what? If you're going to burn my mana, I might as well use it. So he timed it pretty much right before the mana burn came out. So yeah, good heads up on his part. Just those little things that you can appreciate.
Yeah, speaking of the Nyx versus Lina matchup, well, not exactly in the laning stage. What I thought here is it's like Polo Son.
Tusk is going to end up falling. Yeah, Lifestealer doing enough right there with the open wounds and Silencer first thrown up.
Yeah, so going back to the Nyx, in the mid game, a support Nyx could actually kill a Lina You just find her in a camp that's she's jungling. She throws out the Dragon Slave. You spike the Dragon Slave, returning a ton of that damage, and then you do pop out with your Vendetta, Impale, Mana Burn, and you can actually pick a Lina that's relatively farmed as a 4th position Nyx. So
yeah,
that is going to be something that Jabs will be looking towards to do.
Well, Kai's looking to make use of this haste rune. He's just going to protect it for now as Lina's heading over, but Lina decides better. Okay, no, she just got the bottle. That makes more sense. Gonna get that first and then bottle up the haste rune. So good job by Kunkka, just sitting there, the captain that he is, not letting anyone else take it from them. Jabs is scouting out. Oh, he sees the courier fly right on by, but obviously couldn't get there in time to make a play on it. So now Lina has a haste rune bottled up here in the middle lane. Gotta wonder if she's gonna look to do something with that, especially being level 6 shortly.
That ward that he dropped down was so powerful. He saw the rotation from both the Witch Doctor and Kunkka, so they do know, because normally those kind of supports don't roam to that position of the map. They also saw that Kai had a smoke, so now, yeah, smoke gets broken by Jabs in a perfect position. Eats the ward that's immediately placed. Jabs, in that small movement that he did, I think just like, I don't know, won them like a pretty sizable amount in this game so far.
Well, top lane, they're going to try to make the rotation up here instead. Kunkka, he's going up, has the X as well as that torrent ready to go. Life Stealer, though, he's just going to man mode into them. Obviously, with that rage, he feels a little more comfortable. They would like to get Silencer, but Silencer, as expected, is doing a pretty good job. Nuts here is he feels like something's up, so he'll be fine. Middle lane, Black does go down, though that was a looking to play it, so I was questioning with that bottled up haste, is he going to make a play with it, and sure enough, he does.
Yeah, Black shouldn't die in this position, but I think the haste rune was the X factor there. But it also shows the strength of the Bristleback plus the Lifestealer pick. You see that both these supports, the Witch Doctor and Kunkka, they're struggling to find anything done. I mean, Ice did give the 1 kill away in the laning stage, but since then, these two supports have been relatively quiet.
Supports back in. You do have Nyx nearby. Double damage rune, Impel hits, and Jabs is going to take it. Yeah, Jabs has definitely been an MVP of sorts so far, for Faceless at least.
Yep. I am very worried for him, though. Look at him. He's only level 2. It's going to be hard for a Nyx Assassin to pick up those levels. And as I mentioned earlier, his ability to actually pick off the Lina in the mid-game is a very powerful tool, but he's going to get that heavily delayed. I don't know where he's going to get his level 6, 7, 8.
Looks like Juggernaut recently used his Omni Slash, actually. And obviously didn't get anything out of it. That kill was from earlier, the first blood even. So curious how that played out, but Bat Rider's now running back in, level 5 himself. You got Miracles running at him. Out comes the Cask Stun. Gonna not fly over the ledge, actually, as Tusk now rolls in with that snowball, but Ice going the other way. Gonna keep applying that sticky napalm. Doesn't really have help coming in. He's just trying to take out Witch Doctor with him, if anything. And the Ice Shard's also not gonna connect. Firefly flies right on over. And he's actually going to live unless the Maledict, no, with eating that tree. He should be fine.
Oh!
Not enough.
Only Ice makes that play. 3-man gank, kills your support, survives it barely. That was a level 1 Maledict. We were talking about Nyx being underfarmed, but, same thing with the Witch Doctor that's been roaming around. I mean, if that was a level 2 Maledict or level 2 Cask, that was a kill.
I mean, it seemed like it was a case of, I just want to take somebody with me situation. The fact that he ends up living is pretty absurd right there by him. But as you said, he's very comfortable on the hero, especially one that he is known for playing quite a bit. So does a great job at that, and now we're tied at 2 hero kills apiece here.
I think what separates Ice with other top 10 offlaners is his ability to judge when to back out and when to just go in for it. And it looks like he's going to be able to pick up yet another solo kill. The roll's going to go to the Bat Rider, but the Fire should be able to take down Polosan.
Eventually, one more auto attack should do him in, and basically does. So, yeah, just runs him down. There's no support coming in the whole time because at the top lane, you see Miracle. He actually ports up here. And looking to push it out instead. So interesting transition coming out. I don't know if there's a kill. They were pushing the top tier tower, so I guess if anything that's why. But now Juggernaut's finding himself farming out the top lane.
Yeah, I think they wanted to make the lane switch just to get Polosan some levels. But I don't think he actually could stand the lane against Ice now that he's got level 6. This solo kill train might keep going here on the bottom side of the map. In fact, they're making a dive here.
Yeah, he might as well. He doesn't have his lasso just yet. He does have Magic Wand, though. 3 the most, but going to keep up the sticking napalm. Now it's a 4 flame break. That is a kill. And he flies away. Port's coming in, but obviously it's going to be way too late. So you're definitely right. I mean, as we see right there, he just can't handle it. And they're having trouble finding levels for what in the first place was, pretty unique pickup of an offlane Tusk.
Yeah, Tusk just have no defensive play at all. A Bat Rider that's running on you. Shards just gets ignored because he just flies over it. And then the snowball does not help because you're rolling towards him. Back in the mid lane, jabs.
He does have Omni Slash. Will he go for that? No, it's too deep and there's 2 people here. That would be way too risky for Miracle. And now Black's actually just going to run down. Good old Arcane Rune assisting here.
Kill,
yeah, 1 more gets it. No, he actually blocks him out. He goes for the Omni Slash. Now Black has to run. He has his back turned, but the snowball connects and down he goes. I mean, I can't blame him for chasing. That was just a great response, though.
Yeah.
Felt like he had the kill for sure, just 1 more, but again, the timing of the Nyx, not the Nyx, but the Tusk there, as well as obviously the turn with the Omni Slash of Juggernaut. So another important kill, but Batrider continuing to get really free farm and actually almost has the drums down here now at the bottom. But as I say this, the Torrent combo comes out. Now Miracle going to be able to spin on top of someone with the clip. Of course, also dodge the LSA, even though the Laguna Blade, they want this damn Batrider dead. But will they get it, and will they keep Kunkka alive are the 2 questions I'm asking. It looks like they're getting the kill, and Kunkka will survive is the answer. So, oh, finally, they take out what seems to be the raid boss early on here.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Your offlane Batrider has a killing spree streak. You know, I think you can make the strong case that Ice has done exceptionally in the lane. And
oh, yeah.
Mugo, by contrast, is very, like, they're struggling a lot. Like, they have to pull Juggernaut, they have to pull Lina off the lane to make these kills happen. The Tusk is falling so far behind. And one thing I mentioned, you know, at the beginning of the game is that they have to win the laning stage because their heroes don't scale into the mid game well in terms of damage output. They're going to make a roll here on Nuts.
Yeah, top lane, the punch comes out, and there's the shards to block him in. So, nice rotation there, and again, finding any kind of farm for the Tusk, who, of course, is level 6 now. Walrus Punch to secure that one, and Lina we've kind of forgotten about a little bit, but to talk about her, she is tops in net worth, especially after that right there, and actually already has her point booster finish with the Soul Ring and Arcane Boot. So that Bloodstone's actually coming pretty nicely.
I think Chipix is having a great individual game here. Picked up the solo kill against Black with the Haste Rune, rotating around, helping out all of the other lanes to salvage the situation. Had Chipix been playing like a more of a subpar game, I think Mugos might have been completely out of it. But he is putting the right now.
Look at how confident Lifestealer is at the bottom lane. He's pushing the tower down here. I guess they do have a little bit of vision of what's in the middle lane, but he has an armlet, you know, of course the Rage level 4 here. He's feeling very good about not necessarily being in a dangerous spot. He's right, but he may want to defend the middle lane as they're going to be pushing that mid tower. So he's doing some good damage down there, but how long will he wait down there is the question. In fact, he's TPing him now. Global Silence comes out. Lifestealer is able to jump to Lina actually right off the bat, and Lina will fall. The lasso also catches Witch Doctor, throws out that cast, but just going to delay his inevitable death as he falls the ghost ship coming out. But that was just simply to run if you're Moogle there.
Yeah, Lina overstepped the welcome. I don't think they were expecting Nyx Assassin to be level 6. And Lina was so far in there. He's actually like past the tier 1 tower where he got initiated on. So that was very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, like I said, Lifestealer gave up pushing that bottom tower by himself. Omni Slash Black with his teammate somewhat nearby. They get the kill, but at what cost now for Miracle as XY with that Walrus Punch in the face. He don't give 2 craps. He's going to run after the Juggernaut, open wounds, and the Infest Bomb to finish the job. Nice impale on 2. And Tusk, he doesn't have shards for another second. Can he maybe use it to save the day? No, he cannot. It's way too far away. Kai's going to be run down. And now Tusk himself needs to be careful, as does Lina. They're throwing themselves at them. Oh no, this is going to be disaster for the Radiant side. Unless Nuts goes down. The Laguna Blade, not enough. And it's not going to be from Tusk either. They're both going to fall most likely.
My God. That was one of the best display of positioning and skill by XY. He basically baited that Lina for that 4th kill, just kept skirting in and out of the Laguna range. Like, if you just watch that replay again, where Lina, like, he clicked Laguna on XY about 4 times. And, you know, he was armor toggling, he was, like, going in and out of the trees. Even, you know, at the start of the fight, infested into the Batrider to dodge, I believe, a Torrent. Just really, really good display of individual mechanic there. And Basis is really up by quite a bit now.
Yeah, another case of, well, Black did go down, but, you know, he survived long enough on that Bristlebacks to eventually set up all that turn that happened, of course. And this Lifestealer, he is deadly right now. He's the top net worth in the game. He actually doesn't have his Infest currently, but that's something else that, of course, it's going to start coming online more and more. Not only with the Blink Dagger, inevitably on Batrider, but, of course, just Nyx himself with a Vendetta. Very good tool to use, as we stressed with that pick in the draft there. So, looking for somebody in the jungle right here, but this is the power of Nyx, as I said last game. Even though they didn't get a kill right there, it's still the presence and the time that's spent for the Radiant side of playing so defensive, but they're going to go for a kill here, as it looks like Lasso did connect Kunkka. Ghost Ship goes on out, but all right, the X marks the spot, I guess. Keeps him alive, but now Kunkka, he's still going to be run down. Global Science activated as well, and Flame Break to push him out. Trying to maybe stop Tusk, not able to stop him, but they will get Kunkka. Well, only get the one kill.
Yeah, that could have went a lot worse here for Mugo. And Black answers your question in terms of what build that he's going to go for. Just a standard Vanguard. Would not surprise me if he pops a hood after that. But just look at this, where they're playing on the map. They have absolutely no respect for Mugos.
Yeah.
I mean, they can, right? Look again, this D board that's been, looks like, replaced into the Radiant jungle is allowing them to play the way that they are.
Yeah, and again, every time Nyx has that ultimate up, you know that they got to be scared, and for good reason. And Rider just about has that blink now. Of course, he went the drums first, but has made great value with that. Merkel is just kind of charging on up right here. Feeling very confident with that Observer Ward, of course, but not going to find anyone. And instead, we'll have to start running back. He is being pinked out himself. See if a play comes out here. Lifestealer Sage has been finished, so the Heavens Halberd is now just about taken care of for him. Heavens Halberd, I mean, it's pretty standard stuff here, but you like it this game?
Sure. I mean, it's great against both Lina, that good right click, good against the Juggernaut. Just good against the Tusk as well, but just damage output. I do want to highlight Jabs though. Like 10 minutes ago, he was level 2. You know, we were a little worried about whether he's going to be able to have that mid-game impact. Now he's saving up for a Hannah Midas, not even going for the blink, because I feel like the Bat Rider is going to be the one that's going to be initiating. Instead, I just want to make sure that he has a good economy walking into the mid and late game.
Well, right as you say, Bat Rider initiating, Infest jumps inside, and they're going to be looking for a target now.
They see Lina.
That's a prime target. Not seeing themselves, of course. So Lina, though, unfortunately for them, is going to go a little bit too far away. And go the other direction. Haster and Spawn. Kai's going to go pick it up. Actually, the X marks the spot, helping to make sure he stays alive through it. Now he's being pinged.
Reveals his position.
It's really deep here. Well, now they definitely know that he has a blink, and they're probably suspicious about the Infest Bomb, but it's going to get off anyways, and Lina got too greedy. I mean, they knew that they were in that area, but she's like, let me just farm the stack real quickly, and that ended up being the death of her. Ghost Ship comes out, but now Kai's going to end up falling.
The Haste Rune ends right then and there, too.
Yeah, open wounds, perfect time. Let's just say he planned that all along. Omni Slash bounces over. Good job with the team support. Getting close enough right there, hoping that RNG paid off, and it certainly did. And Kunkka will fall. The Shrine Pop from Miracle, but XY just going to sit on top of him with the auto attacks. Another open wounds used. There's a spin out, but perhaps just delaying. Ice keeping his distance.
Where's the taunt, Ice? The misplays are huge.
There you go.
Ice survives the last Omni Slash with like 20 HP.
Yeah.
No problem. Stays around to Napalm a couple more times to give you slow, and of course had the Flame Break there as well. And it's like you said, they had vision of the Bat Rider the whole time. There is a good guess that Nyx Assassin, or not the Nyx, sorry, the Lifestealer would have been inside the Bat Rider. But
even without that, a lasso still is going to hurt you pretty massively right there, and you got to figure team support's nearby. So.
Like they could pull Lina up this cliff, right?
Yeah.
And then she would have just been stuck there and died. So.
Yeah, it's a dangerous spot. And this Lina, we kind of gave her compliments as far as having a great start, but maybe a little bit of Caster's curse right there that we applied, because Lina since then is still struggling to finish that Bloodstone. It seemed like she's going to have it 2-3 minutes ago even, but at 18 minutes now, means at least the Vitality booster, of course, has the Arcane Boots. Just can split up.
I think it's more so the nature of this draft, where Mugo needs to be pretty much slightly ahead every step of the way. And that mid-team fight where the Lina got somewhat caught out, the global as well as the Nyx Assassin Viz was revealed, that really slowed down Mugo. And then the fact that these deep boards allows Faceless to play as aggressively as they have been, it's really been putting Mugo on the back foot. And this lineup does not go when they are behind.
Nyx has seen over here. He ran by a Sentry Ward, so they know he's over here, but again, they weren't really near him, so they don't want to spend too much time just kind of guessing where he's at. Instead, they're just going to fall back, do their own thing. Bristleback, meanwhile, has been doing some triple stack Ancients. On his side, the good old Bristlebacks have your back turn and spam W strat. That's how the hero works, man. He's good at doing that. Hit Defiance now. Is that bottom lane? Oh, Jabs goes down. Okay.
Yeah, Jabs just popped out in Viz, hit Miracle a couple of times. He baited the Impel, trying to bait out Miracle's spin. Miracle just ulted right on top of him. It's like, thanks for the free kill, buddy.
Yeah.
Miracle definitely needs that freebie to catch himself back up.
All right, he'll gladly accept that. It is a 7,000 net worth lead, though, despite that, in favor of Faceless. Almost around an 8,000 or so experience lead as well. But now you have the Bloodstone finished on Lita, and they're going to go for an elite. Oh, even Laguna Blade! Oh, no.
20 gold, though.
You know what? You're a positive guy. I like that. Yeah, that's... again, Laguna Blade, that's just one of those we can kind of laugh at. Laguna Blade's a short cooldown, so... Yeah. So is Ghost Ship, for that matter. Not the biggest deal, but... Yeah, 20 gold. There you go. Got something out of it.
Polo Sun working on a Hanamitis, so looks like they are in it for the long haul. He did, I imagine, was working towards, like, I guess, Mech and Greaves. Like, he had a chainmail purchased previously, but he's, like, decided to go for the Midas. I think, judging at the pacing of the game, the Midas could actually pay off. It is still a very big inherent risk, because you got to keep in mind that slowing down your Mech and slowing down your Greaves means you're going to be subjected to the global for much, much longer.
That mixed with his talent, which he just got right there, though, the 40% experience gain, that, I feel like it's not like core necessarily, but if you're playing this offlane and you're kind of rely to get this farm and be effective for your team, especially being behind, I can kind of see what he's going for.
That 40% experience gain plus Midas hits him to 15 relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Where taking the 150 snowball damage means he could one-shot the wave with his 2 spells. So he can become a farm machine. The problem is whether he's going to have the time and place to get out that farm. Because Faceless is like starting to take multiple towers. This is a lineup that could take objectives relatively easily, be it tier 2s or Roshan. So I think Faceless is going to really exert the dominance on this map.
See, he's using that Frozen Sigil to kind of say hello to them and confuse them a little bit, but they kill it pretty quickly, and then they kill off the tower on top of that. So the Lyrical, you know, guessing if he maybe got that axe, perhaps that could be their victory. But obviously that's going to be a ways away, even if he wanted to do that.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be Mech Greaves after the Midas, and then perhaps axe, maybe.
Just maybe. Here we go, Lifestealer Palm, active, Bat Rider. The one with him inside, and that could be a free Lina kill, though there is backup. Gotta be a little careful about this. Global Silence as well to really secure a nice match. Still out, though. Omni Slash now used, but it goes back to Lifestealer, and he is going to be able to TP out with that Rage active. That, again, the execution of Faceless, they make it look easy, but just impressive play.
The saddest part for Mugo is that they expected that gank the whole time, right? Miracle stood behind them, like you said, had help prepared. He had the Manta to get rid of the Global Silence. But unfortunately, I think even if all of the slashes hit on a single target, that wouldn't be enough to get the kill.
Yeah. And he did deny himself, just to clarify as well, on Lina, but of course down to 8 charges now on that Bloodstone, so that, as always, whenever you pick that item up, that's got to sting a bit if you die shortly after and dropping down charges. Bristleback, meanwhile, his own Heaven's Halberd. All right, so they got 2 of them now. Him a Lifestealer. This Juggernaut and really the Lina even are going to have trouble getting auto attacks off, but that evasion's also going to be an issue.
Yeah, Mugo wants to play very aggressively right now. They know that Global is off cooldown, so that means a couple of these heroes, like Witch Doctor gets to channel a full Death Word, Kunga gets to go off with this whole combo without interruption. That's why they're so actively seeking for kills, but Faceless is not going to give it to them.
Marco going pretty far up, but again, feels very confident with all that teammate support and now the Manta style finish. So Nyx Assassin, 1560 gold. Mentioned before how he decided to go the Hand of Midas. Made sense with the pacing of the game. He's level 10 here, but going to be working on that blink now and almost has it. But Bat Rider Lifestealer, we've seen this before. They're looking for another kill now. I don't know if they're going to get the opportunity unless somebody goes deep into the jungle right here this time, but it kind of just goes back to the idea. So what? If they're playing this defensive, you know, they're not getting much farm.
Right.
Across the board.
I think the only person that combination cannot kill is Miracle, although that might be tested relatively soon here.
Yeah. And he's by himself somewhat. They're kind of running over, but yeah, they're looking at it like, do we really want to go on this guy? He is a tough one, as you were just mentioning right there. And now backup's coming in, although it is smoked up, so they're really hoping.
Smoke's going to break now. And now the War sees it, so... Ooh, blink
there
away, Ice knows.
Well played. Easy blink, and look at that. That's 4 players bottom lane. You look at the top tower. That's going to be destroyed now. Great job by Faceless again, just spreading the map, buying space.
Follow Sun going for the blink next. I like it. This is the ultimate answer to all of this, right? Like, as long as he's not interrupted by Global, he can save the Lina that's lassoed or whoever that's lassoed. So I think that was the idea with the Tusk pick, the blink snowball save. It's very, very precise. It takes a lot of skill to pull it off, but
yeah,
these are pros. I assume that, you know, they know what they're doing.
You would hope here in the TI7 regional qualifiers that you're almost expected to be able to make plays like that, and understandably so with so much being on the line, of course. But Roshan, he's going to be done here by Faceless, and I don't see Moogle stopping this one. XY, I'm sure XY is going to be the one to pick up the Aegis here. Let's see it going to Bristle back. Although Bristle has died 3 times and Lifestealer hasn't died a single time, so okay. There you go. Alright, I mean, does that make sense to you?
I think the idea with the Bristle getting the Aegis is it allows them to play really aggressively up at the high ground, which then allows your Lifestealer to hit the building. I think that's the idea behind this.
And he is a very good reset hero, too.
Yeah.
It's not like he has massive cooldowns that's like, oh crap, I used him and I'm coming up. That we've seen before. 13,000 net worth lead, though. Continuing to look good for Faceless. Nyx is coming over. Let's see if we can find anybody Juggernaut in the vicinity, but not close enough. 2,000 gold almost saved up by Juggernaut, so with the pretty obvious Manta style first, but he's not showing us at least what he's going for next. Do you think it's obvious in your mind, or?
I think Diffusal Blade is fairly reasonable, although picking up a Heaven's Halberd of his own might be enticing just to like, hey, Lifestealer, you can right-click, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Diffusal Blade is likely to be the next candidate. Here comes Faceless.
Yep, guess what? They find Lina. Said that before. Global Silence even as well. That's a dead Lina. They want Tusk on top of that. Impale's going to be down for another 7 seconds. So pull us in. He's evading for now. Has that snowball up. So even using the Hand of Midas in the midst of the fight. He's like, it's on cooldown. Get that value out there. Yep. But he is going to eventually die. It's a good thing he did, I guess. Walrus Punch. He just simply delays it. But again, the prime target you got to figure in immediately, and then something thrown in with it. So now 5 charges on the Bloodstone.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
The road to 0 Bloodstone charge game is not the game that you want to be playing as a Lina.
And I know this is, obviously this is kind of hindsight to say now, but something I've always kind of talked about whenever we see the Bloodstones and I get Lina, you know, very popular candidate for it. Is there logic to, is that what makes Bloodstone, you know, maybe not worth it in the end, get more of this safe item, get that Yules instead, and so on?
It's a very good farming item. I mean, obviously not at this point because you're down to so low charges, but when you freshly pick it up, your mana regen is just up the roof. So it allows you to play relatively quickly. Like, you could walk through a jungle, just mow down every single camp. You could pop in the lane, push out 2 camps, or two creep groups, and then move on with your life.
Yeah.
So it's a strong farming item. Unfortunately, now that it's down to all these charges, it's not the best.
Now it's not so good. 15,000, more so 16,000 net worth for Faceless. Can experience around 15,000 itself. AC just finished on Lifestealer. Bristleback, by the way, going for the Radiance, which actually he's almost got finished. He has 4,300 gold saved up here towards picking that up. And man, with the Radiance on top of, you know, how tanky he already is.
Yep.
Ouch.
So the one thing I'm surprised about is the lack of a gem coming out from Faceless, because this is how you really close out the game. Ice is queuing up for one right now, so better late than never, but Miracle?
Yeah, he's getting gone on here, but just going to TP out. The team support, they're running after. Next is going to stop the end. It's Lina. Oh, no.
That could have been worse. That could have been like a Ravage cancel out 2 TPs, but looks like Kunkka canceled his own TP on his own will to try to rescue the Lina, but as a result, they will lose 2. That's
so unfortunate, because as you mentioned, Lina goes down, and now Kai, I mean, he still could get out of here somehow, but it's going to be a difficult task. Now he's delaying them quite a bit. What could have transitioned into a bottom tower push, maybe. So
I mean, only Nyx is following him. They're just standing next to each other. Like, he knows Kai doesn't have a TP, right? Because he just canceled this.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a kill.
Just a matter of time. Kunkka just really gave out. He's just like, you know what? You got me. All right, I'll go down in peace. But yeah, it ends up being 2. So yeah, obviously they didn't stun him out, but he can't blame him for wanting to save Lina. Lina, though, the struggles continue. That feels bad, man.
I'm surprised that Nuts didn't just beeline over there. It's like, that's +2 in right there, man.
Yeah. It's smarter by the minute. All bottom tower. It's going to draw to about half life here. Black, he's tanking it up. Of course, has just about enough for that Radiance finish, but he also has the Aegis, remember. So he's definitely not worried. There's that gem pickup that you were just talking about going into that last fight. Batrider now has it, or he purchased it, I should say. So he doesn't have it yet, but eventually gonna pick it up. Yeah, what do they do here? I mean, it's like, sure, they can maybe kill Black, but he has the Aegis. So.
Yeah. And killing Black entails you using Laguna Blade or Omni Slash. So even if you kill him there, you're not going to kill him a second time. Looks like he's going to just tank it all. Maledict might do it.
Go to Defiance. There's the bop, and trying to finish it. Okay, they're going to get the Aegis here. Whew, none of those used, but there we go. It's going to come at a cost. Batrider jumps in. They catch Tusk, however. The Global Silence as well will stop any follow-up. The Omni Slash was already activated before that, but Tusk goes down. No buyback for him. And now the Rex is very vulnerable. Black, he's back up, full life, full mana, XY. He's just going to run away. The ward is kind of tickling Black, if anything. Just runs down Witch Doctor. Gets the kill on him. So that's a Rax kill on top of it for Faceless. I don't know if there's really much hope after this for Moogle, unfortunately.
No, I think there was not much hope 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
When Faceless was playing in the jungle so aggressively. I gotta say, MVP, as per usual for Faceless game, is definitely the Batrider. Had a killing spree in his own lane, you know, 1 against 3. Able to dominate the mid game with a whole bunch of... Every time Lifestealer popped inside of Batrider, it was a kill.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah, very strong laning presence, and again, having that Lifestealer threat as well to work with. Just fantastic setups, and again, overall a great team effort from Faceless right here. So that's what I was talking about in the pregame. The idea of Moogle, like their one chance is maybe there's going to be some rust on Faceless, being a little bit since they played, and this being the first game of the round robin. I think other teams have to be a little scared because Faceless is looking pretty damn good. Not to be overconfident with it, but they're making a statement that they're a team that to reckon with most certainly, and as expected, one of the favorites here in this round robin stage. But again, if you're Moogle, now this game's not even over yet, so let's not even get into that too much just yet. But it's a 23,000 net worth lead with all of that said, and they are down the bottom racks on top of that. So, like, what's the decisions to be made here if you're this Radiant side? Like, where's this comeback idea?
Find a random pick. You can't actually be Faceless in a 5v5, even like a 5v4. Just you need to randomly get a pick here. Lifestealer is a good start, you know, dead, and try to extend the game that way.
Well, they're pinging him out up here. They know he's in the area at least, but well, Faceless, they all of a sudden have a lot more resources themselves. And now it's Moogle the ones that have to play very defensive. That Torrent's going to miss, pops the Rage, going after the open wounds applied to Kai. Impale actually hits Witch Doctor. Kai's doing a good job of evading for the time being. Nice job with the cask stun as well. And Witch Doctor just baits into himself, and he will end up falling over there. Tusk and Conker are both going to port away, and oh, Lina did get picked off down here as well. So seems like that happens every fight, though, unfortunately.
Had they just lost the Witch Doctor and was able to make it out, that would have been like the worst. But Lina again falling down. Looks like Juggernaut, in terms of the item choice that you were questioning, it's going to be a Blink Dagger and then back into a Diffusal Blade.
Okay.
So that helps the mindset of let's start the fight off, you know, 4v5, or let's get us a better split pushing power as well. But all of these, like, you know, just a little bit better, just a little bit more, to me, isn't enough. Mugo just needs something a little bit short of a miracle happening, or else it's not gonna cut it.
Well, it's a good thing they got Miracle, huh? That's been overused. Bristleback's level 20 now. He just finished his Crimson card as well. So still that he picked up. We mentioned the Radiance that he had earlier. Of course, still has. So they got those several kills to him earlier in the game, but now I don't think they have the damage output to really be focusing on that. Maybe a nice Witch Doctor Death Ward with that Maledict up, perhaps, and you know, Laguna can play nuke. But we talked about in that bottom push, if you use all that on just simply the Bristleback, then your team around you is probably going to be getting wiped out, and still in favor of Faceless. So not to be negative Nancy over here, but it just continues to be a bunch of, well, negative, unfortunately, for Moogle. But you know, getting that pick, Juggernaut is that saving grace, if anything. That Diffusal with the Blink and the Manta, as you were talking about it. Now he does have that Butterfly queued up. Obviously, that's a very ambitious item to try to get here, but you got to try for something.
Yeah. I mean, his item is progressing very nicely. The Butterfly kind of matches up decently against the Basher that you see on the Lifestealer. But let's not forget the fact that there are 2 Disarm Blades on the side of Faceless, Heaven's Halberd. So even if he's surviving, you know, the next step of killing people was still going to be rough for Miracle.
Another big infight engagement could be happening here soon. Jabs, they are smoked up. This double sentry put down. They really wanted to make sure. It's on Merkle, kind of jumps in, but it's not gets BKB activated immediately on Batrider. And now the Global Silence, a very defensive maneuver from Faceless right here. Lifestealer, he's looking for a target to maybe go on, but not going to find it. But now they got the Global Silence used, so again, some positive.
Not the worst. Like, that was the first time that Mugo moved out of the base without losing half their team, right?
True. So again, trying to be more the positive now for them. But that gem, as expected, is doing work in the hands of Nyx Assassin here. And rewards, and you just look at the map from the vision of Moogle. It's nothing. They're playing really blind right now. And they're still trying to kill a tier 1 tower middle lane at 34.5 minutes.
I think it's time to back it up here.
Well, they're going to get backed up because Merkel's going to get picked off. Witch Doctor tries to go in to save the day. That's not going to happen. 68 seconds. And they're going to get more out of this as well. They kind of felt like they had to defend the Juggernaut right there, and it just wasn't going to take place, man. Barry goes down on that Witch Doctor. They clean up Tusk, and perhaps going to make a death ball push here middle lane now.
Yeah.
Finish.
Jabs made a huge play there. I'm not sure whether you caught that on camera or not, but as Juggernaut was getting lasso and getting gone on, the rest of the team realized very quickly, okay, Juggernaut's dead here. Let's just all get out. So most of them channeled their TP, and Jabs went in and hit a 3-man stun.
That's why then. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were just sticking around and saying, you know, we got to save him, but that makes a lot more sense then. As far as keeping them there. So ends up being the 4 instead, and now Rax here in the middle lane. You got to make their way top, I'm sure. In fact, Bristleback's already up here working at the tower and trying to get those mega creeps. Juggernaut still has 15 more seconds before he's up. Lena is up with an Arcane Rune, and BKB go. BKB popped by Batrider though.
Ooh, good play.
Nice X though.
Yeah. Bet that was in front of the fountain and not, you know, any of the previous ganks.
Good reaction, but again, may not end up in too much in the end. Here we go, the last ditch effort from the Laguna Blade. Really doesn't do too much damage out of the Bristleback right there as expected with his back turn. And he just continues to run 4 staff away. They're going to catch Lifestealer pretty low. He does have an infest though, worst case. But he's resetting now. The armlet toggles looking to go back in. Batrider, Global Science is activated. Batrider, will he be jumping soon? He's got the blink ready to go. He wants it, baby. He's going to jump in. There's the infest bomb right in the midst of it. XY is so low on life, but not low enough. They can't finish the job. Miracle spinning away now. Still going to take out Batrider. Another 4 staff away though. He'll be just fine. The shards ain't going to block them out. The Shrine to use onto Juggernaut right there as now Polison sitting nearby, but there's 3 dead. Now they're just going to go back for the actual objectives and get the mega creeps. And Faceless looking to be 1-0 now here in the round robin stage.
Well, I'm going to say the Tusk pick did not really pay off. I think the idea is good. You get the punch that can control the Lifestealer through the rage.
Yeah.
You get the blink snowball play that could help allies, but you know, he was just always on the back foot. So good idea, but did not really work out the way that it was meant to work out.
That it did not. So very well played on the part again of Faceless right there, moving on to 1-0. So Faceless now, you know, good thing for them too, you know, perhaps could have been overlooking this opponent a little bit, you know, and Mugo being an open qualifier team. Clearly they did not. I say that though because they face Clutch Gamers, actually, that's going to be coming up here next. And
I am super hyped for that series.
That's going to be a good series there. Yeah, Clutch Gamers looking really good.
Clutch Gamer used to, I mean, Faceless used to be the king of C, like undisputed. Yeah. And then Clutch Gamer came up and be like, you know, that's our spot. But that was 2-3 months ago. Since then, Clutch Gamer has lost quite a bit of their steam by doing very poorly in their international debut. So my question for Clutch Gamer is, are they going to be able to re-challenge for that spot for you know, the king of C?
I think that's the great thing about this event, though. Like, if you're a team like Clutch Gamers, this isn't that international LAN event. This is the online qualifiers in your own region, which you're clearly a lot more comfortable with. They're definitely going to be a scary team, I feel like. So I'm just as excited as you. Faceless versus CG going to be coming up next, guys. I'm Brick CBK, joined by Luminous for this cast here. Stay tuned. Our coverage continues shortly here.
The tournament commences. Vile creatures.
I challenge you!
Yes!
Now, that's how you make gold.
E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2 is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans.
Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match.
Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Deuce. 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 Deuce is wild. Deuce. 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 Deuce is wild.
Mountain Dew and Origin Super Rig, built by fans for one lucky fan. Tune in to the Dew Twitch channel. Vote weekly on Super Rig components and you could win the Super Rig itself. Vote, win, rig up.
I usually stream every other day for 12 hours at a time, so I'm sitting a lot. 5 Hour ended up asking me what I need. I set a chair, and they ended up giving me a really good ergonomic chair, best rated for like long-term sitting, and it's absolutely helped the quality of my broadcast. Caffeinated beverages, you know, you got coffee, you've got energy drinks, you've got sodas, but I always found that 5 Hour Energy was usually the better alternative. Way less calories, no sugar at all. Easy to store, easy to take with you, fits in your pocket. Doesn't get much easier than that. I mean, it just helps push you through.
All right, guys, welcome back to our coverage here of the regional qualifier Southeast Asian region. Looks like we caught you snacking right there, Luminous.
Trying to stay healthy. Eat some
good.
mandarin.
I feel like every time I'm at these hubs, I eat unhealthy. You're an inspiration.
I mean, they have it in the bag. They have bananas, strawberries.
I just see the Flaming Hot Cheetos and the Monster.
That's yeah, speaking of which, I'm going to get a tasty beverage.
Oh, jeez.
What's next? And he told me, I'm like, oh.
Well,
damn, I feel swindled.
Of course, we're talking about Faceless versus Clutch Gamers here. This definitely better. In fact, for me personally, now I chose TNC to be first, but I chose actually Clutch to finish second and Faceless to finish third for my predictions right there. So again, clearly though, these are two very good teams in Southeast Asia. And Lumi, you're kind of stressing how Clutch has definitely proven that they can play against Southeast Asian teams, especially in qualifiers. So do you think that they're going to fare well here?
Well, that was the last patch. Like to me, they seemed like they figured out the patch, and then as the patch rotated, they went to Manila Master and got absolutely dumpstered by like every team there. So my question is, have they figured out this patch?
Yeah.
It's been like a month and a half since, but I'm not sure if that's enough time. But we'll see. This is the true testing ground, right?
Lyrical, Faceless looked pretty good right there. So you got Clutch with a chance here.
I think that they do. We were actually talking about this on the ride over when we were coming and like saying, you know, have they developed another style? Because the style that they played in the last qualifiers, I don't think is as viable as it was before. Maybe you still can't get away with like a lot of fighting in the mid game and but I feel like you need to have more emphasis on dominating the lane. So I think that they can, but I want to see something new from them in the draft, not just like the Invoker shenanigans and like big team fightalties. Like they need to have more emphasis on lane winning, I think.
What is your take on Clutch, Gots?
They're a good team. I worry they may be kind of past that honeymoon phase where you kind of come together, you start getting successful, and then maintaining those results is always the tricky thing. They qualified for a lot of lands in like a small period of time. Went to all those lands, didn't like stand out any of them in major ways. They had like some where they maybe showed up, played all right, others where they just kind of got knocked out very quickly.
Or they couldn't even go to.
Yeah, they didn't go to in our case. So they're a team. I'm kind of curious. Like, I wonder what they got from all that experience playing those international lands. They at least got to scrim with those teams. They had a couple of matches, like Epicenter. They played a full round robin group stage, so they got I think 4 best-of-3s in. So at least got good match play against different teams. But I don't know how much that helps against SEA opponents.
Both these teams are 1-0 to start things off here. So Clutch Gamers actually defeated Skate Masters. That's right.
Yeah,
the Champions Cup qualified team.
Got him.
Yeah.
The only Champions Cup participant. Skate Masters, they're friends of mine. I know a lot of them. They're Aussie players. They're good guys, but I think they're maybe a bit out of their depth in this qualifier. So
hey, it's fun.
Oh, it's a great chance. You know, I think they're all very skilled players. They're all like 6K, 7K MMR players. Definitely up there. They may cause an upset or two. I hope they play some good Dota. I saw like the kill score was at least not like completely one-sided in that game, so they looked like they played all right.
As we saw from the famous match of Filler Pig versus KBU, MMR is not exactly the biggest determination factor for whether you win or lose. So
got him.
Don't let MMR determine who you are. So
are they playing from Australia?
I believe so.
Is that a big ping issue?
Yeah, it's not the best ping. You know, it's like 100, 150. I mean, depending where you are. West Coast, it's not too bad, but most people are East Coast, Melbourne, Sydney, and it's like 150. So honestly, I think they're just there to have fun. They probably just like, sweet, we qualified through Champions Cup. Let's sign up. Sweet, we're in TI regionals. You know, it's like, why not? I don't think they were trying to abuse the system. I don't think they realistically think they're going to qualify for TI. I think they're just like, this is fun. They play like local Australian tournaments. There's a lot of just like small online stuff there. They play all those. I think they just figured like, screw it. But why not play against Fnatic, Clutch Gamers, Faceless?
What if they win it all? That would be amazing. What a story.
They're not going to.
They're not going to. You're
right. Ricky is just... I know that Scant, which is Happy Feet's coach, was not too happy about Skate Masters.
He was not too happy about the format, not the team specifically, I'd say.
No, I think he tweeted as like, how did this team get the slot?
Well, the whole Champions Cup in the first place. I mean, I can see why people may not be the biggest fan because there's like two sides to it, right? There's the one side that it gives teams like that an opportunity that would never have thought they had an opportunity to play against some really good teams in a regional qualifiers for something really big. But then you could argue, well, maybe there is that other deserving team that maybe would be better fitted and overall would do better as a result and just better for the competition. So I definitely see both sides, but I like it. I like the idea that we have a team that gets a new experience, gets something fun out of it.
I like Champions Cup as an idea. I think just the way it was executed, like it was only, you have to win Champions Cup, like it was from before Kiev Major, and then you had to have not changed your roster or something, so it was like very few teams were eligible.
I mean, what a great story it is, though, for Skate Masters. The fact that that's a team that did
the
it.
fact they get to go and get something.
Like, they get to go and like actually play in a big competition. That's it. Sort of gives you another side to it.
And then you have teams like Alliance that join the Championships Cup, and it's like, well, that's awkward.
That was weird because it was like it felt like a way for them to bypass the fact they changed their roster and were meant to play in Opens.
So they didn't have to play in Opens.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're a team that you want to see in regionals, so from that point of view, I'm okay with it. But I felt like it was a weird way to bypass.
It's not
the
a perfect system. I think that's very obvious. But it's a great. I think we all agree with that. We're excited for it. And in fact, we got this game ready to go here into the draft. And as I'm looking over my shoulder, we already got a bristleback. I know, shocker to everyone.
A Necrophos ban.
They don't want to deal with
got
it.
them info.
It's because of the bristleback, right? Like,
well, I mean, they could have banned Bristle after the Necro ban. It's not like your ban goes instantly into your pick.
10 seconds remain.
Something
this
the other
to
team
me
gets to ban.
says Scrim, right? Like they play against them Scrim. There's a Necro that they can't deal with. I mean, we've seen Necro a couple times already.
Reserve time.
Well, I
saw once. I want to say maybe not.
I saw on the fun stream, and let me tell you, that Reaper Scythe was getting some kids.
Who was that? Was that Pixel? We had Pixel playing it earlier in our show match of
Did he go Battle Fury?
No. He used a scythe a little early sometimes, but you know he was trying, and that's what counts now.
He's got the cosmetic.
Yeah.
So.
okay.
You just want to see that cosmetic all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Gran, when I walked in today, Gran was complaining. He's like, "We lost because we got Pix on carry." Like, okay,
I think if you have Pix on your team, that's the best role to put him on.
Yeah.
Just pick him CM and put him on a hard 7. You know.
They tried that the first game. It didn't work.
Okay. Well, they had Toby on carry that game, which is
Well, that's also
That's worse.
Let's talk about actual competitive pro players here.
This is the combo. I mean, they had it with Bristleback last time around, but you can see this is what Faceless want to do. Like Bat Rider, Lasso, Global, whoever it is.
They had it with Nyx. No, it was the first game.
Mid.
Oh, of course. No, you are right. Yeah. They was Bristle both games.
Yeah.
We do see the Oracle in response to the Bat Rider, especially.
So I know you guys talked about the Silencer and Bat Rider combo as a very strong early mid-game initiating teamfight combo, but I like from these two heroes that they have that combo and they don't sacrifice anything from the laning stage. Like Bat Rider, dominant laner, Silencer, one of the best zoners with his glaive. So something that Gabe was saying earlier is not just about the mid-game fights, which is what Clutch Gamer traditionally was very good at, but it's also more about the laning stage now.
Is this a region-based thing? I mean, this is the... Again, we're all talking. Silencer Bat Rider we're seeing several times today. The third time I want to say in now 4 matches. Is this Southeast Asia, or is this something that you think is kind of a universal thing that these two heroes are just strong together? Because I mean, I haven't gotten the chance to watch a lot of Southeast Asia. I'm not gonna lie, you know, in preparation for this, but a lot of it, I don't know if I see this in a lot of other regions, I guess.
The duos started in the Chinese metagame, I'd say. We're seeing Silencer as a 5-position support was being spammed in China if you go back like 6 months ago, maybe. But I'd say like right now it's an SEA thing. I think what we're going to see, probably as Lumi mentioned earlier, scrims. You know, you see something in scrims, it works a lot. Those teams keep picking it, other teams start copying. It just seems like, and now in this qualifier, now that this is 1-2 game, it's going to keep getting picked or something. So I think we'll keep seeing it.
I don't even know if it necessarily has to be pervasive across the meta. Even like you can just have it team specific sometimes. Like I think that right now Faceless feels very comfortable with it, and like every team kind of has their own way that they want to play still, even across these. Like you look at you know, for instance, Miracle's team, they're going to be banning out Naga Siren, I would imagine, against them still fairly often. We didn't see it in that other one.
Last game, they banned the Naga.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I found that funny.
But I don't think that it's necessarily that, like, Silencer Bat Rider is the only way to play right now. It's just that this is something that they're very comfortable with.
I would say that the speed of the game really helps out Silencer, because traditionally Silencer very strong early, mid-game, but then once you go into late game, you could kind of itemize against them, whether picking up the BKB, Mantle, Lincolns. But as you could see from the games that we casted so far, the game mostly is decided before that point on, where you cannot itemize against the Silencer. So if you look at this pick where Oracle on paper very good against the Batrider, but the realistic aspect of it, when the Batrider jumps in, the global comes out, and then you have Oracle standing there looking really silly. Yes, you can get a Greaves, you can get a Lotus Orb, but
you're a 5% support.
Right. Will the game get there? Which I don't think it will.
Yeah, if you're going to pick up Oracle for the idea of countering the Batrider in that sense, you know, why not maybe get something like an LC then, who perhaps is a little easier even, you know, with that press the attack reaction, and I guess with laning, you know, it can be a little more difficult, sure, but.
I think the other thing is maybe thinking about the laning stage. We saw Ice just like run over fools in the last game, and maybe that's what the Oracle is meant to be, is more of a way to help out that safe lane, to keep them alive. And you know, you got Fate's Edict to take off magical damage. The Purge as well takes off all the stacks, if I'm not mistaken, in the AoE. So you can stand next to 2 heroes and then get 2 for the price of 1.
Trying to think of the lineup that Faceless had last game. They did have Nyx, which they banned themselves, so they're going to pick up a Slaughter, actually. That kind of takes the place of Nyx.
That'll be the, 4th position, like you said. Jub's hero. So they can just run around, creating space, ganking a bit, and then later on takes over a lane to farm his Blink Dagger.
Is Lifestealer the 4th pick here, then? I mean, he's great with Batrider and Slaughter as well, and again, he was that pick last time around.
I like it. I think it works. You know, it's, again, Oracle's not going to use spells if he's silenced, and you get that mix of magic and physical damage. You've got Slaughter Lifesteal, but you've also got the Batrider doing magic damage. I think Bristle will melt to a Slaughter Lifestealer as well, theoretically, so could work. I may want to hold off and just see what clutch pick a bit, but I don't think. I mean, again, you're not going to get too much intel out of this Sand King pick, though. So Lifesteal seems like an alright pick. You have to reveal either your mid or your carry here.
What do you guys think of Oracle kind of coming back a little bit? Because for the longest time, in fact, I still think to this day, Nahaz posted a stat about how Oracle is the worst win percentage hero in competitive Dota 2 history. We are seeing a little bit of a comeback because of some minor buffs with the meta, whatever you want to suggest. Do you guys feel like Oracle is a strong hero, or are you almost surprised to see him?
Seems alright now. I think there was a period where everyone was over-picking it. I remember it was like I was at a Star Ladder or something, and every team kept picking. Every time I saw a pick, I mean, I hated the hero back then. Everyone was like, this team just lost. And then they lost like 90% of the games. Oracle just kept losing. But I think it's situational, and that's where I don't like it picked up first 2. It doesn't feel like it's justified in a first 2 pick.
I feel like that hero on paper seems like he could do everything, right? He could counter pretty much anything, but in actuality, think of like 3 situations that Oracle is actually good in draft, and honestly, truly, he's only probably good in 1 of those drafts, as opposed to 3. I think people overrate how good he is fitting into this draft, and I agree with Parker completely. Like, picking Oracle second just to counter Batrider, I don't think that's enough. I think he needs to be countering a whole bunch of heroes before you even consider Oracle.
He's also one of the, probably the highest skill cap 5 position support, incredibly hard to play. And not just for yourself, but like for your teammates, like knowing how to play around the fact that you can get magic immunity, but then you can't attack. Like sometimes you may be in a scenario where you want to put that on a carry here, but then they can't attack. It's like there's all these like funky interactions between his spell that it takes a really good Oracle support play to use, but then also a team to understand how the spells work as well. So I think it's just a hero people aren't good at playing around.
It's almost like IO in that way.
It is exactly IO. Yeah. It's just that
even more complicated, I'd say.
Like IO, I think most players and teams play with more. Oracle is just so rarely picked that.
The other thing about it is I feel like in the mid-game team fights in particular, he suffers because he's got like 2 very defensive spells and then like 2 half defensive, half offensive spells. And he just doesn't provide enough in those like 5-on-5 engagements or 4-on-4 engagements. If he can keep somebody alive, it's great, but with Batrider and Slaughter, they're going to be able to jump him and find him. So it's going to be up to like the Sand King trying to protect the Oracle and then the Oracle trying to protect everybody else. And maybe Bristle and Viper are big enough that they can shoulder the load, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, interesting development there. Venomancer into now Viper.
Yep.
Final pick.
So they didn't 4th pick the Lifesteal, they picked Lean instead. That kind of me kind of suggests that they didn't want to rush into the Lifestealer in case he gets kind of counter-picked, which to me kind of happened with Veno Viper, but they still ban it. I think the Lina with Slaughter is really good because Lina actually dishes out a lot of physical damage in the mid to late game once you start getting your talents in a couple of items. The plus 50 damage, the kind of Bloodthorn build-up we're seeing, Shadow Blades, so I think Lina actually is a really good physical damage here to pair with Slaughter.
Do they just Drow here?
Sure. It can work definitely very well. You may get run out a bit in the laning stage by a Bristle is maybe the slight concern. It's not this. It's like a risky pick, but it works. Alternatively, yeah, I don't know. Alternative. Good call, Lyrical.
Well played. So why did you like the Drow here, Lyrical?
I think it's just you've got 3 other ranged heroes. They committed heavily for like kiting people, and if you're Drow, you can kind of keep the distance away from them and running them. They don't have. I guess Venom's deep push and Sand King's good deep push, but I think they just win the lanes pretty hard now.
They definitely should. I think there's a lot of pressure on Sand King this game to help out mid, make sure Viper actually can beat the Lina, which in a straight 1v1, Lina should win, especially with Drow Aura. So I think Sand King's a better roamer than Slaughter, but going to come down to like kind of how they play it.
All right, here we go. The Oracle pick. We'll see how that works out for Clutch Gamers. Obviously a strong finish of the Viper, but the call pick with the Drow there, and again, Faceless looking strong themselves. Lumi, is there a lineup that you like either way?
I think Faceless lineup seems much easier to execute. Largely a part of like Oracle is again like a very hard support to play. I think Venomancer as your carry position to me is also hard to play in the sense that your timing window is very limited. He's very strong relatively early on, but at the same time you want to close out the game early. I think a couple of players in the Summit kind of talked about that aspect. So I think Clutch Gamers draft is extremely hard to play. Not to say that they can't play it, it's just that can you play it against Faceless? Yeah. That's the question.
Oh, Gods, before we let you go here to get into the game, your predictions on, now that you see the drafts?
I'm going to go with Faceless, but I think I'm kind of cautiously saying I think Clutch have an ability to kind of win the lanes and snowball if they play really well with the Sand King. So, but I'll stick with Faceless.
Lyrical?
I'm going to say Faceless too. I think that if Viper gets out to a good lead, you just spam Purifying Flames on him. He takes less damage from it because of the passive and gets the full heal still. So that's their goal, but it's not going to end up happening, I don't think.
Well, they definitely got the tower advantage as well. So once again, thanks guys, but myself and Lumi into the game now for, again, both these teams 1-0, Faceless versus Clutch Gamers. Right here, with the sad trombones and applauses. Lumi, what do you think of all that? Being able to, for the spectators being able to hear that. Do you like that?
I mean, that's how Valve sells stuff, right? Players spam it, we know about it.
I like
spam it as well.
It's
you
fun.
think you're cool, you think you're artsy, and then they sell hats.
I've never had a game yet where it's just like over the top done. I feel like it just always adds humor and you kind of chuckle at it. So
I mean, they gave it a 30-second or rather, like you can only spam it every 30 seconds, right? So maybe once you start casting the South America qualifiers,
oh yeah, a little change of pace there.
There you go. They will be spammed because that's the region that drops items while laning. Drops items, try to attack it and break it themselves, but cancels the attack before. You know, that's perhaps the region where might be exploited the most. But I think the interesting thing so far in the game is that Faceless avoiding, sending Ice up top. So one thing I think I mentioned earlier when I was on the couch was that when you have a Drow lineup, the opposition wants to offensive tri-lane to shut down the Drow. Drow is not very strong as a laner starting at level 1. Once you give her a couple levels, she's decent, but at minute 1, she's not very strong. So most teams tri-lane against her. It seems like Faceless is expecting the tri-lane going up against her and now dodges it. And Faceless is correct because if you look at the top of the map, a lot of heroes are congregated there for Clutch Gamers.
Yeah, that was definitely Clutch's plan. It is Clutch's plan, so we'll see how they react to this once they realize Batrider's already up here. But you got Sand King, Oracle, and the Bristleback heading towards the top lane. But Ice on that Batrider. He is flying up here, and again, didn't necessarily have vision of this, but he's going to need to play pretty defensive right here.
Well, they can first blood him very easily. This is a very standard move for fake tri-lanes who coming out here, and now the root is channeled up. This could be a kill, I think.
They're going in. Quill Spam will begin. The Burrow Strike follow up. Are the Quill Spam's going to add up enough? They should. There we go. One more, and Rappy on that Bristleback picks up the first blood. So, yeah, very good execution. And clearly, even though they expected the tri-lane because of how they set up, he still played pretty aggressive right there going into the shop. And obviously bit him in the ass there.
I mean, in his perspective, He thought that defensive trialing was going to be the case for Clutch Gamer. You see the bristle bag. He's like, oh, 1v1 matchup. And all of a sudden.
Not the case. So, again, obviously proves to be a good start for Clutch Gamers. And now Sand King rotates to the middle lane. Trying to set up on the Lina, perhaps, with the Viper here, of course. Viper always pretty notorious for being a very, very lane dominator.
Could be a kill here.
Burrow Strike is going to connect. And you even have Oracle coming in with that Fortune's End. Again, it's such a strong ability for these earlier on ganks, the range and the route that it brings.
This is a very good look for Clutch Gamer because their traditional playstyle is to lose all the lanes and then just clutch it out in the lane by like getting great team fights. But who are these Clutch boys? I've watched them qualify for so many of these lands, and this is generally not the way to do it. But you know, with that said, that was the old patch, and this is the new patch, and I'm glad to see that they're adapting extremely well.
Oh, you also got the fight for the bottom room. Jams, he'll fall back, as will the rest of them. But that I want to go back to this middle now, and again, just as I was stressing about the Viper notoriously being a very strong laning hero, do you think that fits here? I mean, especially now that he's up 1-0.
Yeah, and we saw why he's actually so strong against Lina, because obviously you could trade right clicks fairly decently, but with any addition of +1, because you could orb poison attack so effectively, that +1 is always going to transition to a kill.
Well, bottom lane ends up being that try versus try lane now. Drow for the meantime, though, actually had a very good start, of course. But now with them being down here, the support set may change things up a little bit. Gabby on that Venomancer, though. He's struggling, only has the one last hit currently. Ideally, that'll change now, pulling the creep wave back. The support's kind of doing that for him here. What is this about? Sand King running into Drow. It's going to fall back, though. So if you're this Drow Slaughter Silencer, how aggressive can you play into this?
I mean, if you see a support out of position, you go for the kill. But I don't think they'll be expecting a tower dive anytime soon. Especially against, you know, Venomancer, where if he gets a Gale on 2 of your heroes, that could be bad.
Well, actually, the Radiant side's going to be the one making a move. XY already getting low as the Fortune's End connects. Venomancer just putting in the auto attacks. He does have that poison sting and more than enough to finish the job, as Sand King credit for the kill right there. So great move on a Drow, and Clutch Gamers 3-0. Talk about usually a weak laning team, perhaps, Lumi. Well, they're not so weak here.
Yeah, looking pretty strong. It was very key for them to get that kill there for Clutch Gamer. Venomancer, to me, is not one of those heroes that want to have a sustained trialing versus trialing, because he is very level dependent, and again, they're going to go right on XY.
Now, Sand King's being boxed out in the meantime, so, but that might not even matter. Venom's just running at the Drow. Now he's in a bad spot, but the Crush misses him. Ooh. That's pretty clutch, because now he can just TP. No, he's not even going to go for that. He actually is still going to try to run and survive.
What?
What was that?
He's still alive?
Yeah, he is still alive. And now he's going to turn kill on a Jabs, it looks like, even, to top it all off. Oh, boy. That Venomous Gale and a double kill for Gabby. I thought for sure he was just going to TP out right there and, just be like, all right, at least I lived. But right, not only does he still live, ends up getting the turn kill. And they're going to stop Silencer on top of it all. This start, a hat trick for Gabby. Wow. Oh, my gosh. What is happening? Clutch Gamers.
Well, it ain't looking good for the Faceless boys. I mean, they do have that strong mid-game where, the Ice Bat Rider could look for those kills, but you gotta keep in mind that he's gonna be going for the drums first and then the Blink Dagger, so it's gonna be a long time before Ice could impact the game in a big way like he did earlier against Mugo.
And I think this is really credit to also Oracle as a hero and his roaming presence early on, because when you think Oracle, you may not necessarily think that, but I mean, Fortune's End, especially with the changes to it and the buffs of it, and then again, Purifying Flames, it's a lot of damage. We're looking at 180 damage, even at level 2, that it does. Of course, the regen after the fact, but if you're using that to, well, finish the job or help nuke somebody down initially, strong ability. So roaming presence clearly effective from Oracle.
I would credit more not to the Oracle, but Fly Solo as a player, because to me, that his presence was a numbers advantage more so than the Purifying Flame. I think a lot of Crystal Maiden or let's say a Witch Doctor would have done pretty much the same thing.
True.
In a lot of those gangs, but being at the right place at the right time. Imagine remember mid lane when Sand King rotated the back against Lina?
Yeah. And
then it was Oracle that poured it in just to secure that kill. It's plays like those that Fly Solo is making. Bottom lane, XY.
Again, XY in trouble. Venomous Gale put up. Even as Ward's not even necessarily using those, doesn't even need it. Slaughter gets here, but it's way too late. He throws out the Crush, and that's it. It's only level 1, of course. Got the Curse Last Word combo applied to Sand King, but that's just going to harass him out. Another kill though on a Drought. Is this a time where if you're faceless that you send Drought top?
I think that comes down to the off laner and the carry communicating. Like, I think that is going to be a play.
Deny? Oh.
But it also might be one of those things that, you know, the team thinks getting a more farm Batrider is more important. So it's really up to the team. It seems like they're going to keep sending XY, keep throwing him into the lines here.
The fire, the lions, whatever you want to say. I mean, he is just being thrown into this for sure. This is an 8-0 start. This is something that we'd expect from maybe, you know, speaking of that team that qualified on the Champions Cup that we were just talking about on the break, you know, them versus Faces, if anything, but not Clutch Gamers versus Faces, with Clutch up 8-0 in the early start here. And it didn't even sound like necessarily that they got out-drafted either. It's just really they're playing it very aggressive, playing it very well. You do look back, I mean, without that first blood at the top lane happening, you got to wonder, you know, how that maybe set off this momentum here from the Radiant side, but it did. Yeah. And thus they have an early lead. Now it's still early is the key word there.
I mean, for the Faceless fans out there, you got to keep in mind, even though it's 8-0, it looks pretty bad. Clutch Gamer has to start the game like this with the draft that they have, right? You don't pick Viper to go even in the lane. You pick Viper to dominate. And you could say relatively the same for Gabby's Venomancer. So more or less expected start, given the hero that they have for Clutch Gamer, but perhaps not, you know, 8-0.
Build a Discord already in the works here for the Venom at the bottom lane. Viper is actually going to be going the hand of Midas with the start that he's having right here. So, like in the greedy route, getting such an item. You like the hand choice?
Yeah. If you could get away with the Midas, it's always a good choice.
Yeah.
I think you're asking the wrong caster whether hand of Midas is a good choice.
Fan of the greed. All right.
99% of the time, like, yep, that is a good one.
What's the 1%?
I mean, last game we saw the Tusk buying it when maybe perhaps Greaves or Blink. Because they were losing really badly, right? In that position, so.
I like how Venomancer kind of just has a lane to himself now. They finally gave up. He's level 6 here and leveling up those wards even. So going to start pushing that tower out. You do see the positioning of Faceless. They essentially have 4 heroes up here at the top lane. Here's Batrider now. Batrider's actually trying to deal with Bristleback in the jungle. But here comes supporting from Sand King and Oracle, and now Ice once again bit off more than he could choose for half. Fortune's End used to purge actually Bristleback right there, rather than get the root effect onto Batrider. So that could be a difference maker. He gets the kill on a Bat, and he takes out Bristleback as well. Very well played by Ice.
So remember when Parker said that it's not about Oracle player knowing what his hero does, but also his teammates knowing what the hero did? Yeah. The Bristleback was supposed to walk right into the Batrider because when the root came on him, it would have also rooted the Batrider and would have also debuffed all the napalm. But he went away. The Bristleback went away because he was afraid, and as a result, they couldn't kill the Batrider quickly enough, and they lost 2. Yeah. So that precise moment was what Parker is talking about. It's a very hard hero to play for yourself and also for your team.
Well, now you have Bristleback. He's going to try to get this momentum going.